Hey, hi. Welcome back to another chat with Vamitch. I'm Sharon and I have a very talented and creative guest with me today. So, hello.
Hi,
Please introduce yourself.
my name is Danial Farhan Shah. I have just turned 31 years young. I am a senior content producer in Highly, where I would actually have to create content for employers to actually entice job seekers to apply to their companies for a job. It's somewhat of an idea man, and I would need to communicate with the clients on what their needs and wants and make sure that representation is accurate to how they want to project themselves, basically. Employer branding, that's right. Yeah.
Employee branding, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, Danny and I connected through LinkedIn when my friend shared his profile and creative work, and she thought maybe like we could collaborate or work in any future projects.
Yeah.
So, when I saw your profile, it's
Yeah.
like it surprised me that someone actually has a lot of skills and wide range of like talent.
Yeah.
Because I don't meet that many people like that. To me, it's like finding a rare Pokemon.
Really?
Kinda.
I'm just under this impression when it comes to people in the creative field, is either they are specialized in, they got to be specialized in one thing.
Yeah.
And it was very difficult for me to actually find a job that suits me because they're looking for all-rounders, but at the same time they want to find somebody that's more specific, but then
Yes.
once you apply to the job, they're looking for all-rounders anyways.
Yes.
So it's really confusing that they're asking for something specific, but then they're going to ask me to change my job scope because it suits them in a particular situation. Yeah. There was a time that I felt that
Confused, clueless,
something like that. Yeah.
uncertain.
It wasn't really uncertainty when it comes to creative stuff, right? I just cannot help but seg my feet into like different aspects,
Oh
right?
yeah, it's like once you find something new, you're like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
We actually talk about our story on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
The one like last month.
I think about 2 months ago.
I want us to share our story again with the audience today.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with you. What's your creative journey like from interest to passion and career choices?
Right. I think my creative journey started with a childhood alienation.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can picture this. I came from a very privileged background, but somehow I ended up going to school from private school to private school to public school, right? So it was difficult for me to connect with a lot of kids, considering the fact that they're aware about my background, and they would actually treat me differently, and they don't.
Did they treat you like in a mean way or a kind way?
Right. So they treat me in a mean way, but at the same time, but there are ones who just don't know how to interact with me, and they didn't really help that my proficiency in Malay was not really good. So and the only the kids I could actually relate to are either Chinese or Indian, which is.
Oh, for me it's like the Malays and Indians.
You cannot
cannot
mix with
speak
your
Mandarin.
I mean,
But I grew up speaking Hokkien, so
Yeah.
not a lot of people speak Hokkien.
Yeah.
Especially when they are kids, they're being taught Mandarin at
Yeah.
home or at school or classes. So
Mm.
they don't engage with people who don't speak Mandarin because partly like they are afraid or they are scared or they are shy because their English is not good or like miscommunication or you don't understand each other. But sometimes some of them are really nice, so they actually talk to me and stuff. But yeah, and I only had like Chinese friends when I was in college.
Okay. So I'm still trying to understand what is that? What is that about? That being.
It's almost the same, like you know how if you're Malay but you don't speak Malay, they think like, oh, you're rich, you're privileged, you're better than me, then I should bully you or anything like that.
Yeah.
Both sides actually feels alienation because one side is like, oh, I don't speak my own mother tongue, and then the other side is like, oh, I don't speak well in this international language, for example.
Yeah.
So yeah, in Chinese it's the same thing because if you don't speak like Mandarin or Cantonese or all of it, it's like you're, if in a very old school way, it'd be like you're useless, you're stupid, you're all that. So yeah.
Well, they call me names and.
They call me banana.
they call me London, even though I don't have the English British slang, so it doesn't.
You do.
Huh?
You do.
Really? Yeah, I didn't.
Kinda.
I wasn't really aware of that. I don't really pay attention on how I speak. But anyways, right. So, but because of that, I always feel taken aback when I'm actually around Malay peers, so it creates some sort of trauma, right? But that's a different thing altogether, which I'll explore later on. But because of that alienation, I became a pathological daydreamer. Yeah, so
Wait, what does pathological daydreamer mean?
I just can't help myself to actually, zone out.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah. I have to get to
It's a coping mechanism.
because the reality around me sucked. So I'm supposed to be lucky, but I feel unlucky that I just cannot mix around with a lot of kids,
Yeah.
right? And I only can actually get along with kids with a similar interest. And back then, I stick around with with a Chinese kid, just because we have a similar interest in Kamen Riders or something we watch on television. And so I daydream a lot, and I create stories in my head, and I would eventually draw characters, based on people I know, just for fun. It's just a personal game for myself, as if I'm the next Stan Lee or something like that. Yeah, and I wanted to. And I love going to the bookshop or the comic stores, mainly because they would actually make an effort to put. All right, so we're in a bookshop, right? Yeah.
Books.
So I look at the covers, I look at the posters. They're really beautiful. I'm just at awe, and I wanted to illustrate.
Is it like graphic artist? Graphic novel?
I didn't know what it was, what it was called, right? So all I know is that I want to be involved in that industry somehow. And when I expressed this to my parents, they think where this is going,
no,
right?
you're not gonna earn anything. You're not earn a living, no career in creative industry or that.
But my dad was trying to be a solid dude about that. He didn't say it's the wrong choice. He patted me down. He said, "I know this is a very interesting industry. What they make was actually great." In fact, my dad also have an interest in drawing himself. He draws as well, so he understand where I was coming from. But he also was a bit apprehensive of how I was able to support myself, right? So yeah. And also, when it comes to privileged background, my dad was an international pilot. Yeah, so I was so I had the privilege to travel a lot of places at a very young age, and I was exposed to visuals that at the time would never see in Malaysia, especially posters, billboards, advertising.
Skyscrapers.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just wondering, why is it that we don't implement this or those kind of visuals in Malaysia? Only to realize thereon they don't really, I won't say care, they don't really invest on it. It's a huge investment. They don't really invest on it, so it kind of breaks my heart, right? So then knowing about this, it just makes me wonder, how can I fight this? How can I contribute? Because visuals actually unlock some parts of the brain that not only enables with your creativity, but also how you communicate with other people as well, right? When I want to use an example about posters, what I get annoyed is that they want to put a lot of information in one poster. Overcrowded. People won't.
They won't see. They won't pay attention.
Yeah,
they can't read.
There are a few times where I try to be vocal about it, but they still want the information. I reckon it's not my direct client was the one who give, who want me to do those things. It's just somebody on the client side just want to say something just to validate their existence and position. So
very familiar.
I don't blame the client directly, the ones who communicate with me most of the time, because they're just doing
their job.
It's their job. I pity them. I pity myself. Yeah. Yeah. So in terms of that, so we talk about my childhood, and then I like to draw, but around the SPM time, it just dawned on me that I won't be able to support myself properly doing,
Mm.
this alone, right? So I felt that I need to do something else as a, tuition. But the problem was that I wasn't really good in school,
Mm.
and everybody was talking about wanting to be a lawyer,
Which you need to
engineer,
go, private or public.
that sort of thing. And people would think, your father's rich, he can sort out. I'm like, that's not how the reality works, man.
Mm.
You don't have good grades.
Mm-hmm.
You won't go anywhere, man. It's kind of shame. So to help me out, I managed to get score higher for my trial than my actual SPM, which is, I don't know how that happened.
I failed Sejarah for my trial, so I cannot use it for anything.
So I was lucky, so I decided to use those results and apply early.
Immediately.
I wanted to do something I'm actually familiar with, and my mom encouraged me to get into films, right? So somewhere around my childhood, or secondary school, the thing about my parents have in common, or at least when we talk about things, we talk about films. My mom was more interested in the celebrity culture, the
She probably thinks like, oh, my son's gonna be a director, I can meet like Tom Cruise and all that.
That's right. So she thought that it's going to be like that. Whereas my dad, he's the kind of person who would actually stay and read the credits.
Oh.
So
I stay for end credits.
End credits? I mean, because you have that, something you might miss, right? Marvel movies, right? But he would actually sit back and he said, I mean, they're there for a reason. You got to.
So he reads all the names?
Yes, and he would actually understand who's the cinematographer, and this was before Wikipedia was a thing. He'll remember the names and which person is actually involved in the previous project on the movie he also likes. The director, the cinematographer, everybody has a part to play in this sort of thing, right? So he's more interested in the work on, in terms of the storytelling as well. Yeah, not so much the glamour. Not interested. He just wanted to focus on the movie and how it makes him
Okay.
Even he has been passionate for films or anything forms of art. I think he's just a closeted art nerd. He doesn't talk about it, but I mean, he's retired now. He talks about me, but he's still a bit apprehensive that, Daniel, you're not going to get success immediately. It's going to take a lot of hard work. You have to get your hands dirty a lot. I mean, he knew. So I went, anyways. I went to study. I fell in love with making short films with my friends. The idea that we can be anything, how we.
Yes.
And I was lucky to actually have friends who were interested in the same thing. Although they were studying films, but they have the interest in the art form. So, like this friend of mine, he studies IT. Another friend of mine, he studies, if I'm mistaken, political science, or along the lines of that. But they can be very creative with their words and how they want to twist their stories around. I made some stuff with them. I love them, but the funny thing is, I wouldn't get the same enthusiasm with people in the industry.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah, it's like the ones who are outside, they see things differently. But when it comes to people working in the industry, they have this certain jadedness, and
it's like a very weird trend.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's not a nice industry, it's very bad, like, be careful what you choose, be very sure what you want to do, blah blah.
Yeah.
Then they say like, oh, it's not a very good life, you don't get to sleep, blah blah, but it's like
that's a hard reality. Since we're in this industry, our job is to make magic, but there's a lot of
Not magical shade.
I mean, that's the reason why there's curtains behind in front of the viewers, right? So, and and I tried to work in production companies, but as I said, they're very jaded and they're so negative. They're loud. They're very foul mouthed and mean. Out of that, and it wasn't out of, and all that anger or resentment is not directly at me. Actually, it turns out they're just so stressed about burnout, everything, and then they just take it out on the new guy.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put anybody on the line, but I was taught about the concept of ice. Right. So I went to production after graduation. I was exposed to very hard hours and demands from the clients. And in order to stay active, some people resorted to using ice.
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about. So just to stay.
And in my time, I've never seen anyone take the hard ones, but I think they kind of do based on how they behave. But
yeah, and the thing is, and this guy just came up to me and said, "You think I might look great, but I'm 28, so he looks like 40."
Oh.
Yeah. So the industry ages you. So I've been exposed to the wrong. I think I was just working with wrong people.
Yeah, wrong team. Environment.
And I got scared, and then I took a 1-year gap thinking, what should I do? So I was convinced, or at least encouraged, to do advertising because it's the safest somehow.
This was before college.
Okay, so I went to college first. I was studying film, right? Then I did some projects with friends. Then after that, I went to production. Didn't like it, scary, and the people can get handsy, which is really freaky. And, oh God! And then it's true, guys. And
men and women.
Yeah. God damn! It doesn't matter what gender, women can be handsy as well. I went to study advertising in Sunway, right? So I went to Sunway for a safety net. Got a conversation with the professor, not dean, the head of the department. I was interested to actually bring me in. I was lucky because apparently, not realistically, I wasn't eligible to join at first because my grades did not meet the criteria for the course. But I sat with her, talk about how I was in the industry, not so much as the horror stories, right? Because I just talk about the experience of the work, right? So I think I have the DNA for it. So I was in. During my break, I went to study a course in drama as well, speech and drama, and physical performance, because I thought, okay, you know what? I don't want to be behind the camera. I think I want to learn how to be in front of the camera. Like, yeah, it's hard being a director anyway. So, who knows, right? So I actually became acquainted with a very good teacher, Razif, and he taught me a lot of things. And I told him, what's my aspirations? I said, maybe I want to be a good film director if I could learn how to act. Maybe I can find a way to direct actors better, give them instructions instead of expect them to read my mind. I think you understand, right? Because when you're in the camera, you cannot expect them to dance like a monkey and instead you need to give them the motivation, the cues, motivation, why you should act like this, explanations and all that. So it's very useful to my education. So even then, I was doing production. I was jaded, but at the same time, I still had that spark, right? Still hungry. So I think I'm just a glutton for punishment. But I did want to learn advertising because it's just that a safety net. Maybe I might miss something, right? So while I was there, I realized that our course was very outdated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I studied from 2014, 9 years, almost 10 years ago. Yeah. Until 2017. And the technology, we didn't have the technology we had now.
But yeah, back then it was like the most advanced thing they had was probably something to do with integration with the software that is like through Wi-Fi or internet kind of thing.
Yeah.
What else? YouTube. There's no TikTok.
There's no TikTok. And we were trained. I was trained to actually work on for YouTube, the early days of YouTube, and
no
television.
AI.
And television.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was like an AI, right? So we have to be critical, and we didn't have Wix, or at least Wix was not a thing back then. So we have to learn how to use Adobe Dreamweaver.
Same.
I hate coding.
Oh, I love coding.
Sorry.
Only the basics.
It's just that it's just tedious. I'm not built for it. But I did became more inept in Photoshop and Illustrator, so at least I have
Well, I used to hate Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator.
Why?
Because it was so hard to use at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was confusing for me, and then nobody taught me. So even when I watched like YouTube videos, it's still confusing. Then when I got into photography, is when I need to learn, right? So it got easier as every hard lessons I have to learn myself.
Yes.
But it gets easier, and it's actually nice.
It got easier. I think it was the same way. I had to use YouTube as my sifu.
Yep.
So
even in college.
Even in college, even now.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of things I can do, a lot of things I don't know how to do. I still go
and
to
new
YouTube.
AI stuff.
I still don't know how to use the AI thing because I don't have access to that yet. I'm afraid to use it. Because if I use it, I'm thinking, years on the academy training wasted.
All the trauma.
Well, you kids have to use it, but no. I'm just gonna let it slide to a different time, right? I don't want to be a boomer. So I went. And while I was studying for advertising, being as a creative, this is my favorite part of my university life is the clubs, curricular clubs. I went to public speaking.
Oh, great.
Yeah. But
I joined public speaking when I was in foundation. I didn't like the environment. Everyone was very cocky in that club.
Was it Toastmasters or?
No. It was just like a college club.
Community club.
Yeah, something like that. Then I only went for like 2 meetings.
You were in the wrong crowd, man. Because
it's supposed to be fun, right? Like
it's fun. It's fun. I had the jitters of joining this club because I was even though I just came out from a drama background of sorts, I'm still shy about communicating with other people because actually I don't know. I feel like I'm much more proficient, but I wouldn't say I'm perfect. So because I haven't practiced it in a while, and I went to talk to register. They remember me as someone who was unable to say things clearly. I sounded like a zombie, right? So.
Oh yeah, I used to sound like mumbling. Yeah.
There was a whole science to it. You have to move your lips, your jaw, your voice projection, and all that. You have to breathe a lot, and you have to make sure. Actually, I didn't use my hands properly.
Non-verbal communication.
Yeah, like you get it. So it felt fun because I didn't have time to actually get into the whole performance industry because I was studying. It was difficult to commit, so I had to
let it go.
Let it go. So speech making was the closest thing I have to performing, and I would actually create stories as analogies to carry points out, play a certain character, and the friend I told you about who was studying IT and one thing, they also do the same thing because it's just for laughs and for fun. So it was really great. But of course, you cannot do this forever. You got to after graduation, I stopped public speaking because it just felt like I'm getting old and everybody was moving on to different things. I think it was time for me to move on as well. So I went to work in a small digital marketing agency called Sessanel. I was working as a graphic designer, videographer, photographer, video editor, and a lot of things at once. And I got criticized for not being proficient, especially when I have difficulty keeping up with the deadlines.
So much work.
I was working from 12 p.m. until God knows what time. They were trying to rationalize the whole thing. It's because it's part of the industry.
Oh, they like to use the excuse like, it's the industry, that's how it is like.
Yes.
You can't change anything.
And we're short staffed, and I was just operating on
Zombie mode.
zombie mode. No,
Zombie
firefight.
hydro boost mode.
I got criticized, and after 5 months, they're not going to increase my pay because they think that I'm unable to make their expectations. I'm like, that was the first time I realized that being proficient in a lot of things may not be suited for me, because once people know that you can do a lot of things, they're going to grind you up. So do you ever get that feeling that it's a bad idea to know a lot of things?
Yes, since I was in primary school. Because it's like once you know, or people know that you're good at something, they'll come to you.
Yeah.
And they'll either like manipulate or bully you into it, or they kind of like, at least in primary school, I get paid to do stuff.
Wait, you get paid in primary school? What did you do?
You know, we used to do folios.
Yes, yeah.
So I did get paid by my friend once to do her folio. And what got me really annoyed is I did her folio better than mine. So she got higher marks. I was like, oh, what is wrong with me?
You are reminds me of, right?
It's not just that. In high school, I didn't get paid. But I got payment for food. It didn't stop. So in college, I didn't get paid, but I got snacks and drinks. I couldn't afford a lot of my own meals and stuff because living in KL with very little allowance, it's like I have to buy everything from shampoo, conditioner, all that.
My goodness, you did that. This was in primary school.
Since primary school, yeah.
Oh
so,
my God.
In college, so they treat me like drinks and snacks or like meals, which is great. I get to feed myself. Then after college, I did freelancing on ghostwriting. I thought it was like, you know, some fancy kind of freelance writing where you write novels and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I stopped because it was affecting my health a lot.
Yeah.
It's a good money for a short while because I get to pay off one root canal treatment. That's like 2K by. Then I even got to pay off like my bills.
That's so. Did
and it also still didn't stop there.
So because for a moment I thought it was just being a textbook people pleaser, but you're just doing it because you had to.
Yeah. Oh my God, you figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was growing up, it's like to people, they think I'm rich.
Yeah.
Just because of the area that I live in. But they didn't know that it took us so long to actually get to where we are.
Yeah.
You know, from like a poor area to a semi-poor, then to like a so-called okay area. But even in that area, it's not even the rich area. It's more like a lot of crimes. I'm serious, like death, rape, and all that stuff, even drugs.
Where is this?
Klang.
Say no more.
Say no more.
You got it.
But yeah, so that's why people were like, "Oh, you're so rich because you're from there, and I know you're far from school and everything." But my mom used many ways to make sure that I go to this very so-called she thinks it's a good school.
Yeah.
But I think it's hell because it's a girls' school.
Okay, I understand. My girlfriend also went to girls' school, so there's a lot of horror stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the time, she used her friend's house address, which was closer to the school.
Yeah.
Because if you are far from the school, they won't accept you.
Mm.
So we did that, and then I stayed around that two school from 11 years of girls' school.
Mm.
When I was a kid, it's more like, okay, I used to collect stickers. They are not cheap. And then with very little allowance, then you also need to buy food. But even with food, it's not enough.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, I didn't realize it until now, but I used to skip meals just because I wanted to save money. Skip breakfast and stuff. So it became a habit, you know, for a long time. Then you have to buy more stationaries. I still didn't have to buy my own like shampoo and stuff. That was more like high school. Even with that, also my sister helped me out.
Yeah.
Because, well, partly like my parents are shitty.
Sorry.
But
by creative journey. So videography is from film school, taught by Miss Hannah, who educated me about movies and whatnot. Got me to watch all the indie movies. That's not.
I have that lecture.
Yeah. So really badass, right? So then, in terms of photography, that one is more self-taught. Hobby, and my dad got me this very good camera, but I'm not gonna say anything because people think I'm like privileged lah. So
Again.
So then I decided to experiment, take picture of people I know, and candid, which is really fun. Then around university, I was a phase where I have to learn how to take care of myself because my dad was in the midst of retiring. He cannot support me the way he used to, so I would actually have to earn some side income of my own. I somehow found some friends who wants to do some freelance photography for events, whether it's models who wants to help portfolios and whatnot. That was awkward. I thought it was fun, but yeah.
Okay.
I think there's a bit of a communication issue because of how to direct them because it was awkward, and I want them to pose a certain way, and I have to learn how to be a clown just to make them feel more at ease, because if I'm so serious,
they get tense.
And they're like, oh my god. I'm like, I realized what's going on. Okay, you know what? I gotta learn how to be more friendly and stuff like that, right? But I don't want to get too friendly because a lot of male photographers got a lot of bad rap,
But some of them did do like really bad stuff, but some of them are just like misunderstood.
I mean, yeah, because I heard a lot of stories, and it's difficult for me to, I wouldn't say get treated seriously, but I have to make an effort to show that I'm not a threat. So like I'm nice and all that, and then after taking the photos, and it's fine. So, but I don't get paid very much. I do a lot of effort, but it's not even that much,
Starting out, right?
Yeah, starting out. So it's kind of frustrating. As much as I like to do things, but the returns are not very, very good anymore. So I tried to do event photography. I hate doing club photography.
Oh.
I hate it. Events, so.
I hate a wedding.
Huh?
I hate wedding shoots.
I hate it also.
Yeah.
It makes me feel sad.
Oh. Yeah. No, I'm just really annoyed with like all the people.
Yeah, that's how I got into photography. My PhD with photography starts. But then I was working in the SME. I couldn't take it after 5 months. I decided to call a content and ask her if there's a position in Media Prima.
Ooh.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, everybody's like, wow, you're in Media Prima, nice. But yeah, so that's where my proficiency of being a human started lah. So instead of using my other creative abilities, I have to learn to hone a new one. So which is deck making. Okay, so when it comes to how to present an idea to clients, so you have to do it through presentation slides, and amongst the team of 11, 14, I'm more proficient when it comes to designing presentation slides, because I realized that the type of presentation slides that everybody using in the office were so boring. You're supposed to be creative industry. You're working in the biggest, second largest television industry in Malaysia, man. Why don't you do this? So I would actually make an effort to do that because amp it up, because I want my ideas to realize. I created concepts for television shows or commercials, but 80% of the time nothing happened. Only 20%, because there's a lot of red tape that needs to be done. Right. So they realized that people are not ready for this concept, or it's just that it's too expensive to create. Censorship. And also I don't know whether it's because of the censorship or is that people don't believe that people would like it.
I think it's that part.
Yeah, they would only do things if it's done already. So
Familiar.
they rather go for familiar things instead of trying original. I mean, I get it because it's a huge risk and a lot of money is running on their side. But I mean, the guys who did that thing that you like took a risk. So come on, man. And I had difficulty coordinating with other creatives. First step is communicating with the client, trying to understand what they want, what their purpose, their goals, target audience, all that stuff, and take all that information, create an idea for them. Top line ideas, present to them. They like one of the ideas, extend it into either a storyboard or episodic system just to show that it can work. Client likes it, then I talk to production guy calls another production team, try to make it a reality. The toughest part is to communicate. I don't know what's tough, communicating with the client or the sales team or the production team.
You will never know. When you're in the industry, you never know.
Never know, man, because I try to communicate things with the production team. I'm not calling them they're bad. It's just that I understand that it's hectic on their side. Timeline is very strict, but when you see the draft, I'm thinking they missed out one thing because they know we're going to give them more amendments. They feel like just send. I'm like, you're not making me look good, man, and I have to be the bad guy and force them to change. That's heartbreaking, man. I felt like I'm betraying my brethren, because I was at that line and then I'm on that side. Actually, it's not. I thought it was going to be easier to be on the client side, like I was a client or at least representing client, but it's not great. I worked with this actor, a very nice guy. He asked me, "Whose idea is this to make dinner?" I'm just like, I don't know. And then I just walked.
I don't know. Bye.
But he was great on trying to make the idea work, especially when he has to interact with an invisible entity. Because in post-production, he's interacting with a pink horse.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's one of those things because the difficult part was animation. How to make the client understand that animation has its limits.
Yes.
If you want something really good,
need more time.
You need more time and you need more money. So there was a brief and short argument about that. So
there was also like a lacking talents in industry, right, for animation.
I cannot assume because I didn't see what's going on their side. We managed to find people who's able to actually make it work, but at the same time, I have to be the bad guy in order to push for results. And
it sounds like you're partly a producer also.
Partly, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's not a fun job.
It's not fun being the guy who, and I got some whacking from my boss as well, because not literal whacking, because I was going through a lot of, and during that time I was working on the project, I was going through all forms of anxiety at once, and my coworkers were leaving simultaneously, so my sense of morale and motivation was declining as well. So that's a different topic. But when the project wasn't finished, my contract was up already, so I decided to leave.
Bye.
But I was jobless. I ended up working in this place called Troopers. It's basically like hired leave, but it's more towards part-time jobs. And what I like about the service is that I needed that sort of app in my life while I was in university, because freelance jobs
were
not helping.
Like all the things we needed only came after maybe like after COVID, around that time.
Yeah, I just feel a bit sad, man. So, but it's nice to be part of the experience. I was working with my girlfriend there, where she was the copywriter, and I became the content curator. So, meaning I would need to make sure that the quality of the content is pretty good. So I have to communicate with the copywriter is the idea person this time. I would actually throw in something to enhance or vice versa, because that's what a team is supposed to be in the first place, right? Then we try to get the graphic designer to make it happen. But of course, the challenge is always the same thing: is the time, and trying to communicate that we need more time. It was a really tough experience, but it taught me a lot. At the near end of last year, I got let go because it's just that they couldn't afford to keep me in. But we did not leave in negative terms. I still communicate with my former boss once in a while, and he would actually ask me to fix his decks. Yeah, so there is a positive relationship. But I was jobless for 6 months. Not a good feeling. I ended up working in this place called Beverly Wilshire. It's a cosmetic surgery services. I was wanting to be a graphic designer, but they somehow want me to make 3 visuals a day, and at the same time create a new brand identity for them. And I'm like, I thought I could do it, but I feel so stupid for agreeing to this because I felt like I was in duress because I was jobless, I was going broke, and I'm just trying to keep myself afloat. There was a lot of disagreements, threats were made, so I quit. And then a week later, I was just lying on the couch. I was just, feeling a bit of depression. And then during the time, I tried to be more productive. This is within the 6 months before Beverly Wilshire. I decided to think about where my specialty lies because I can do a lot of those things, but it's just that I know some skills are lacking because there's a lot of things I haven't been practiced because of my jobs. I somehow got the proper title, hybrid artist, that you coined. Yeah.
That's my after 2 a.m. thought.
It's kind of clever, actually.
It's always like after 2 a.m., like 2 to 4 a.m. It's like the peak moment for creativity.
It's and then I even
in the shower thoughts, yeah, all these random moments.
It was a clever my definition of a hybrid artist, because that was my impression. You said hybrid artist and storyteller. That was on your LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, okay, I think I'm a storyteller also because given the experience as well, and I'm like, I cannot steal this title because this first time I heard about it, and my impression was that somebody who is proficient in multiple areas, multiple creative abilities, but not necessarily a master in all. So am I getting it right, or something like that, right? So it kind of fits me as well. We actually need to take the initiative. Can I use the title? Because
he didn't ask me, he just used it.
I used it. Sorry, I used it.
People gotta be brave.
It's kind of cool, but of course, okay, I did take it, but I said, can I use it? It's kind of cool. Yeah, and then you tell me that. I was thinking of changing it. I'm like, don't. I'm in branding. It's cool, and people are looking for hybrid work.
Put out my name card. Because on my name card, it's called founder and artist.
Founder.
I mean, yeah. It's also partly like artist, right? Everything, right? Maybe I want to change it.
But artists can mean a lot of things. Yep. That's the issue, right? So we may understand, but people,
non-creative people, they think like, oh, you paint, oh, you sing.
Yes, that's right. So, what does it mean? So hybrid. Okay, a lot of forms of creative abilities. That's the term. That's
I think about that.
It's kind of cool.
It also gives me like a picture of like a hybrid creature.
Like a chimera.
I don't know, but like a mix of different mammals in one.
Yeah.
Or even reptiles, I don't know.
For me, I think about hybrid work, and everybody is looking for hybrid work.
I didn't think of that.
Because it was trending. So when you talk about SEOs...
Yeah, during my time, it's not like a acceptable thing. No. It was before COVID, so everyone was like, what? You don't have an office? Like, you work anywhere? You travel and work? A new thing to everyone.
Yeah.
Then COVID happened, and you gotta work from home, everyone's complaining. After that, it became like, half at home and half like anywhere. Here's
why hybrid work, regardless of whatever industry you're creative, especially, right? My girlfriend was working as a digital marketing specialist, if I'm not mistaken. But her office was all the way in Shah Alam.
Ooh.
Yeah, we were living in somewhere very far, and to make a drive all the way there every day.
It's also very jam.
So your creative abilities your energy is wasted, and by the time you reach the office, you're gonna be feeling yeah. So what makes sense was that the hybrid work. She goes to office only on Mondays. The rest of the week, she works at home. I apply the logic as a creative because there's going to be a lot of obstruction when I work in office sometimes. For example, I'm working on one thing. People will bombard me with other things that came out of nowhere. I don't get the briefing.
Or not work-related things.
Non-work related things, and they think I can't get it done. And then I'm like, I'm gonna have to communicate this with the graphic designer. Oh, do not fuck over the graphic designer. He's one man I respect very much. He can do things for me, but only on a reasonable time. I'm afraid to give him the bad news, man. Yeah.
The designer is the one who always have to change things.
Yes.
I realize that there's a lot of revisions on and on and on.
You ask him to do revisions, he's already working on something really important, and then so I have to say I'm gonna have to give you. They want something new. Give him about 5 days. What 5 days? That's a week. I'm like, I mean, if you can see our workload, man. So there's a bit of arguments. I think the problem is they don't know what we're up to because they're so focused on their own thing, from production to
advertising,
freelance
drama,
advertising, freelance photography or videography, and then content curation, like a producer. So it feels like a loop-de-loop, a creative roller coaster, man. I don't have a specific specialty. At least that's how it feels sometimes. But there are times where I'm just thinking, where is my career going to take me? Like,
is it always going to be like this?
Yeah, because I'm just getting jobs because it was available at the time. I just happened to be able to do all those stuff. I know when I try to explain my timeline is kelangkabut, right? But because of that messy timeline, I was able to actually contribute to what I'm doing now in my current job. Even though I'm not supposed to do certain things, but I was able to help people out around me.
I think my creative side started when I play with toy cars and dolls.
Okay.
So my children. Why scream?
They're excited. They don't know how to regulate their emotions yet.
Like that. So it's like,
I take it as a positive thing because they have a lot of emotions. Okay, they probably.
Actually, it's true. If they're quiet, it's a bit worrisome.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I used to play with toy cars and dolls.
Yeah.
And when people hear that, they say like, "Oh, you're so privileged, you're so rich, you get all this stuff." But it's not, it's all like hand-me-downs from my siblings or from cousins or neighbors or friends like that, right? So my grandma used to work in a factory, and it was like a doll factory. I don't think it's a Barbie, but it's like a lot of like dolls and clothes, and basically I get all the the rejected ones. Because it cannot be used for sales or production. Like they produce wrongly.
I know what you mean. I forgot the word also.
Yeah. So anyway, then there's like a big plastic bags of dolls with the clothes and stuff, and usually things get missing, and it frustrates me a lot. Cause like, where is it? I'm very like organized. I just when I keep it there. So when it's missing, it's like it's definitely not my fault.
you assume that it's you.
Because I also play with my brother at the time. So. And we'll stack up like, Uno stackers? Yeah. So it's like a rainbow color Uno stack of plastic, and we just like arrange it like a parking lot. Then the door will be on the car. Then they go like, oh, parking shopping. For some reason, the characters always come into a car accident.
Wait, so car accident meaning you
like from parking.
That's actually normal, isn't it? We would actually.
Yeah, but like, why would a kid make so many car accidents in the whole story?
How old were you?
Probably like maybe below 7 or 8.
I think it's just having fun. Okay, if you're going through the child psychology out of it, it's not a destructive behavior. It's just that if I'm gonna take a guess, it's just a case of the resentment of restrictions, and because when you're driving. You're gonna have to obey the rules.
Up in a very strict environment, so it's like a free zone.
Yeah.
Because you can arrange your own parking spot, even buildings, and like.
So that's where I won't say storytelling, your imagination.
Yeah, I think it started, but it was even way back when I was a baby. This gets really personal, but when I was a baby, I'm a night owl.
Okay.
So I don't sleep until 6 a.m. Even now. I think this insomnia thing came down the line because my grandma couldn't sleep. So she's the one who took care of me.
Alright.
entertain me and then let me play with the toys. They just lay all the toys there and be playing on my own, like, clack. Then at 6 a.m. I'll be on top of the toys.
I'm just wondering, okay, you just said you were a night owl. Why is it that people seem to be more creative and
Yeah, night owls.
yeah,
And their best ideas comes from 2 to 4 a.m.
yeah,
or shower ideas. Most of us are depressed. Anyway, so from that little beginning, that little starting point, it's only the time when my mom bought me a sketchbook
yeah,
is when I is when I start exploring more about my creativity. Because when she bought the book, she's like, oh, you can do anything with this. She teach me, right? Like she taught me how to like use certain things, like you want to draw, paint, color, like anything.
yeah.
Then as time went by, that was like primary school, like all the drawing and stuff. It was also like a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Then even like in my diaries, I also draw sometimes because I wasn't good at any language at all. As a Malaysian, you're pretty much bilingual or trilingual from the start, right? Yeah. So I speak Hokkien at home, then go to school like Malay and English. So it's like 3 languages in one. Then you're not a master of any. And when that came to it, it's like you can't even express your feelings and thoughts in writing. So that's where I drew some stuff on it, Then this is a part where people will call me privileged and rich, because my mom actually asked me, like, do you want to learn ballet or do you want to learn piano? I was like, ballet, nah. I don't feel like dancing. And I also have like a very serious case of social anxiety at the time. So being in a ballet setting, like with a group of people and then mean girls or what, it's just too nerve-wracking, right?
Yeah.
And such a good girl, but then her legs are not good. It chose piano out of like all the instruments, because she said, there's a lot of music instruments like drum, violin, all that. When I thought violin, was like, I have to be like that forever? Like, no, it hurts. And then with the drum, it's like where to put it, and it'd be so noisy, and also it doesn't like speak to me.
Yeah.
And when it came to piano, it's like it really gives like a sense of calmness, and also like a very silent expression to me. And I think around that time also is when my sister bought like this collection CDs of Richard Clayderman's music. There's also like Chopin and stuff like that. When that music came in, the piano, it add-ons, from like drawing and painting, music, piano, then writing around like 15 maybe. Because that's when I really learned English on my own. Because when I go to school, I don't understand what they're saying. It's all like very textbooksy, right? Like this is that. It's all very this equals to this. Like you have to memorize all this stuff, but there's no like using your brain to think or to express or to like really be creative in a way. From toy cars and dolls, that was like here for you to play. It's also it might look like, you're so privileged to have all this, but it's more realistically, it's more like my parents are too busy for us.
Yeah.
At least too busy for me, because there's a lot of children.
Yeah.
Okay. So I couldn't sleep, right? So I did sleep until like 6 a.m. So it was also very tiring for adults. Then later on it was drawing. And the drawing part, I don't know, it was very random, and I think it's like a thing that my mom do for all of us, like, just buy and then see like what kicks you like that. Then later on music, the music part is where when they were at the time when they earn a lot, that's when they could afford. So that's why they said, do you want it? Then she kind of give this idea like, it could be like a retirement job or like retirement kind of activity. I was like, I was a kid, what's retirement?
Why are you telling me this?
I know. But she also said like it's a backup job.
Yeah.
So I think partly it's like she wants me to have all these options while she didn't have. My mind surrounds like whatever that I do, there's always like a backup plan.
Yeah.
The writing came because partly I was also watching movies a lot
Yeah.
around like in the middle of high school, from Harry Potter.
Mm.
Eventually became like Twilight, Hunger Games, all that stuff. So with Harry Potter, I was very inspired with Hermione. She's on her own, she studied all herself, and she always want to be better and all that stuff. And it's inspiring because I always get called stupid. So my family call me stupid, and at school people don't say the word stupid, but they tease you or insult you in a way that, oh, you like that also don't know.
Yeah.
Those kind of like insults and stuff like that. So it became like a trigger. Then I was very fed up and annoyed with like I couldn't articulate in any language to express myself, to even explain to myself like what this or that means. Even in my head I couldn't, like, it's always non-verbal and visual. So even when I was a kid, it was like always like visuals, there's no words, there's no narration, it's just visuals. That's how I understand the world, right?
Yeah.
Then from learning English on my own, it was when I asked my sister to borrow any books from her library. At the time she was in college, so any books from there so I can learn like English on my own. So there was these two books. It was this one book, it's like blue and white cover, but I can't remember the name. It really helped a lot compared to like the classes or tutoring classes, or like even with tutor classes, right? Like I didn't go through like from the whole year. It's always like I go in for a few months and I quit just because like not enough money. Really have to rely on myself, and my siblings couldn't even teach me because they always say like, oh, I don't know, or oh, I forgot. But really though, I think they just don't know how to teach, and also like they really don't know something, and then again they will use the word, why don't you know, you're supposed to know, why are you so stupid, all that stuff. Yeah.
Are they projecting?
They're definitely projecting themselves. I know they might be watching this. Anyway, the interest with filmmaking came from like high school, but what really went into like me into the filmmaking process is during college. So at the time before that, it was like writing, then it moved to photography, right? Because I was just taking pictures randomly of people.
Yeah.
I realized I saw this one picture when I was a kid, like a toddler.
Yeah.
I was holding a Canon camera bag thing.
Yeah.
It's very small. I don't know what model it is, but it was like a camera bag, the small pouch like that. So it was like that, and then there's like a Canon word on it.
Yeah.
Even now I'm using Canon. I was always like with the camera, like when I can't remember like in person, but I see pictures. So my family always say like, oh, you always like have things wrong in your hand, you have to like hold something, and then you always take the camera and just like click.
Yeah.
Unconsciously just came back in later life. Then in high school, when I get a chance to like use the camera, my sister's Lumix something, but it was like point and shoot.
Yeah.
The frustrating thing is you cannot manually control like certain things, so you kind of have to rely on the settings that they have.
Yeah.
So that was also like got me like, oh, I need my own camera where I can do all these manual settings. So this is where this baby is, yeah. And this has been with me like since 2017.
Oh, okay.
After graduating high school, it was like, what the hell am I gonna study?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Why would I want to study something that I already know? Like to pay more for something I already know when I could pay for something that I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very weird thought process, but nobody actually choose their course that way, as far as I know. I saw like this subject course in mass communication and broadcasting, so they have like scripting. And I was like, okay, scripting sounds like related to movies, so how do they actually do scripts on themselves? So that's why I took that course. And it's also a cheaper alternative to filmmaking course. Yeah, MMU has like a film course, but it's very expensive and very far.
Really?
At the time, I don't know about now.
Okay.
But I went to Tar College. But right now they're called Tar UMT. It's not too expensive, it's not too cheap either. It's also a place where you get to choose what you want to study compared to if you go to government unis. Didn't want that because all my life I couldn't choose what to do, Strict environment, the way I dress, the way I behave, the way I speak and sound and look, everything, it's all very like I have to be the perfect Barbie doll.
I mean, I think I get it, but why? Appearances.
I don't know. You gotta ask my mom. Don't speak so kangkang, Don't speak so loud. Partly like girls' school and also partly from house. So it's like 24/7. It's like a military service. or in a concentration camp, you know.
Yeah.
You cannot behave like non-ladylike, you cannot look like this or that, you must look really nice, you must always look perfect, and then your hair must be good, your skin must be good. Even a little bit of like scars of what I get. Okay, I used to get bullied and teased a lot by my sisters and other people when they see scars on my legs just because like mosquito bites and stuff. All these little things, all these appearance things, they just like attack, you know, for some reason. And they always say like, oh, don't do this or do that. Later on, you regret even you're older, like shaving or like or don't smile too much if you have wrinkles, or like why you're not smiling because like what do you have to be sad about, all that stuff. When I came to college, after learning for 3 years in broadcasting, but before that was foundation was really fun. You get a lot of things in one, and it's not too heavy, it's not too light either. When it came to broadcasting, I didn't know what I got myself into. Like, you really don't. So when I went into it, I was like, oh, all of us actually went into it thinking we'll shoot more than we do paperwork.
Yeah.
But turns out all we do is paperwork more than we go out for shoots or stuff. Even assignments is all like paperwork compared to shooting or final visual kind of output, you know. So it was very disappointing. But at the same time, it's like those research turns out to be very important.
Also,
because you need research to actually, let's say you want to carry out this idea or these certain things, or like you need to do, you want to produce this, let's say this short film, you need to know, okay, what you need to prepare, what kind of documents you need, who you need to contact, and all that stuff. Like, that's research, right? So even in copywriting, you need to do your research before you make your copy. And that's where internship came in, which was hell. Internship was in my second year, and it really fucked all of us up, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. So every one of us went internship and we came back, we're all so different. In a way, some of us are humbled down, but some of us are like traumatized. Maybe most of us are traumatized. And most of them actually realize that, oh, they don't want to be in the industry at all, even in the future until now. Some didn't plan, some planned, but they eventually went into it.
Hang on, this internship, was it in an agency or?
It was all different. So mine was a TV commercial production company. There's a YouTuber companies.
YouTube company. Like,
I mean, the YouTubers is their company.
Their own channel, and then you're working.
Yeah. So two of them actually went to different ones. One went to, I think only one. The other one went to like, there's like a big 3 or 5 names. Yeah. Like Redcom, Media Prima, all that stuff.
Yes.
So I think one of them went to one of it. I don't remember the name. The rest of them was very random companies, small companies. That one, they really didn't learn much. They still have that spark, so they're like, oh, I want to go and learn and be in the industry or stuff like that. Those that went to it is like
just like what we talk about, people outside the industry still had that sense of wonder.
Even now. Unfortunately, my whole degree 3 years was also hell with my classmates. But
one person says they'll help, and but doesn't. Anyway, just sit down and just complain.
Oh my God! Missing. You give them work, they complain. You don't give them work, they complain. You give them certain roles they want, they complain. You don't give them, they complain. Just talk bad about you, gossip about you, backstab, bitch about you, and then make that's the final moment of the degree, the last semester and the last project. We were all like in this person's house, and I still remember, because I'm not really good in Mandarin, right? But because of college, I kind of picked it up. But I still wasn't really good. So you can't expect me to do the subtitles, even though I say like, oh, okay, I can do it, but I still need help, right? It makes sense because teamwork, but no, they actually put it all on me, and then they blame it on me. Then when I ask for it, and then they kind of complain, and then towards the end, so in that house, right, in that person's house, they were talking about me in front of me and behind, like 360, right? Bitching and all that stuff in Mandarin, and not direct words, but like in subtle cues or like hidden meanings, all that stuff, that kind of way.
It's just taking, like small jabs at you every chance they get.
And they only need me there because first, I have my own MacBook Pro, which I fucking buy. Then second, I have Final Cut Pro. So it was faster than Adobe Premiere Pro, and they all don't have MacBook, so that's why the great one, right? Then this is the part. Okay, before internship, there was this one semester, I think first year, third sem, it was a very nice semester because most of the work is individual. So in that semester, I was so focused on myself, and also it was so easy to like learn all that stuff and really just like be on your own. And the one really good subject in that semester was Introduction to Film.
Yeah.
So my lecturer, Miss Keek, she taught us like, you know, how to watch films in a different way. So we usually be like, oh, okay, the character fall in love, blah blah. But she showed us like different films like Wong Kar Wai, and then Gone Girl, like if different genres, different type realism, even like every kind. And she taught us how to see and all that stuff. Then in that semester with other subjects, it was all quite easy and some quite tough. One was tough because it was Tamadun Islam, it's in Malay, you have to write in Malay also. So yeah, but in that semester I got 3.9. They were not happy.
Why?
I don't know. But when I talk about it to my friends, and some of them were psychology major, so they told me that usually it's two things. One, competitiveness, and two, jealousy. From primary to secondary to college, even after, I never understood this jealousy things from people. I cannot see it. People have to tell me, my friends have to tell me when I tell them the story. Because I don't see it. Because for me, it's like, I go to school, I learn, I come back, then I get ready for exam, then done. Like, done.
Yeah.
I don't care about all this other stuff, but there's just too many of these things around, especially like 11 years of girls' school, degree 3 years, 13 girls, 1 boy. Another girls' school. From then on, it was partly like stress from home. At the time also was very heavy. Then stress from school, and then stress from internship. It burned me out so much, but I didn't know what was burnout at the time. And so it burned me out. It gave me a lot of anxiety, social anxiety, panic attacks. Panic attacks, I think, was like once or twice. I remember this one of the shoots, I had a panic attack. I actually went to the washroom. Then I called Umu.
Okay.
Umu is a cousin-in-law, so I called Umu. Was like, Then she's like, oh no. She put panic sikit lah. But she was like, okay, just calm down, breathe. She actually taught me breathe because she actually experienced that before.
Yeah.
So she told me like, you know, what to do and stuff. Then regulate like my breathing and emotions. Then she sent me this song, Everything Stays, from the Adventure Times theme song.
Marceline.
Yeah. I was like, on the toilet. I mean, it was like the squatting one, so you're like sweating and it was stinky and just like you know, panicking and stuff. Then this song was playing on and on, you know, for like 3-5 times until it went away. So it helped because it helped her. And there's a lot of like anxiety stuff, but also there were a lot of sexual harassments at the time, like in public transports.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so I didn't know that's really to the extreme, because in that timeline, right, in that zombie zone, it's all very numb, empty, and just go by day like that. Everything doesn't, like, you're so unfazed with everything, just like and all this, you know, sexual harassment, physical one, like, it's just really weird lah. Setapak is very weird. Okay, Setapak is also not a very friendly place.
Setapak.
Setapak is like KL's clang.
Oh, okay.
To me, that is. But yeah, then, and there was also like this crazy dude in college also. He was being crazy. He is so in love with filmmaking and everything, but he was also like controlling. Like, we were a trio, right? Me and my other guy bestie, and then like 3 of us. You know, we used to make films together, short films. Yeah. But it wasn't really our idea. We just do it for fun. Like, we just like don't really care. It was him alone. But he put all the pressure on us, and then it was also like a lot, and then other stupid things, and it's just like very, very unclear. Yeah. Right. So that all piled on up. That increased my anxiety. Even give me a longer list of like triggers and stuff even until now. After college, after the final semester, after I signed in the final assignment, which by the way, the last assignment that we signed in, right? The group that I was talking about, like at the house, they were talking about me, you know? Yeah. So we had to sign in the assignment, right? So there was like 3 of us, and 2 of them really just stay behind for some reason, and then they just want to make sure that I leave first. The good thing is my other classmate it's weird, right? But there used to be groups and stuff like that, and they switch around. So towards the end, so this person, well, she's not she's quite drama queen, or like the noisy one, but she's also mean last time. I'm sorry, but it's true. And but she got better little bit by little bit, like years went on. But at the time she was there also, so she overheard them. They were actually trying to tell the lecturer, like, what I did wrong, and then like I didn't do my job, and then like she said she can translate, but then later on we have to do. So they do all this complaining, then the lecturer's like, what? And first thing is, I don't know if it's like an impression on me or what, but also all the lecturers know that I do my work.
Yeah.
And I do it very well. And I score high also. So the lecturer was like, are you sure? Like this person?
Yeah.
Then later on they leave, and she asked this girl, the other girl, and she was like, at the time she know what was going on because she texted me. She actually checked in with me, like, are you okay over there, like at the house? And then like I don't know what happened, nah? And she was like, oh my god, no, like tabas this taba. Yeah, so towards the end, she explained to the lecturer what happened and all that stuff. Then the lecturer just like trauma, man. Then she didn't care, but she just gave us all fair marks, and they were trying to get me like the lower marks to make me feel whatever, right? So
Wait, sorry, your
teammates.
Yeah, that's not a team at all, right?
No.
Okay, so
yeah. So anyway, then when on the final exam paper, I didn't look at them, I didn't talk to them, and they were pissed. It's like, why would I look at you? Our convocation was a year later, so during that time I actually decided to take a break from everything. I don't even care if I live on the streets, which also won't happen. Because my friends will come like, I don't care, you're not living on the streets, I'm happy. Yeah. But I don't care, but I just let go of everything and just like stop everything. I don't wanna find a job, I don't wanna study anything else, I don't wanna do anything, just really had to take a break. There's no definite time, there's no time frame. I just told my friend, like, I'm just gonna take a break.
Wait, so you dropped out, or you?
No, I graduated. Then before the convocation, like the final paper, then before the convocation in between.
Okay.
So it's like 2019 January, like that. So I just dropped everything and just let go. So I took a break, and it was confusing to my family, of course, because they're like, why is he not finding a job? And then they think that I'm into teaching because at the time reality hits you, right?
Yeah.
You need to pay bills, and then you need to sort of survive on your own when your family cannot pay for you. So
yeah.
I took up freelancing a little bit, the ghostwriting. Then I also did part-time teaching art. So that was like it's very little, but it's enough to pay off the bills. And also I was struggling with the concept of money, and also like feeling a lot of guilt around money and food and stuff. Yeah. So all of that is just like childhood trauma. Then and eventually COVID happened. So when COVID happened, I reconnected with my friend Monica, and she was also changing her career. She used to be she studied film, and later on she realized like, oh, I don't really want to be in the film industry. Not because like the industry was bad or anything, but it just made her realize that she wanted to change the direction. Yeah. So later on she got like really interested into design and all that concept and stuff.
Yeah.
So she just did freelance design, and around COVID also is when she learned about branding. So that's where she wanna use me as like a project, and to see like how she can work on these branding skills. So that was also where I learned about branding, and it was very hard because like I was confused, right? Because I was taking a break, and also I was confused about like what's going around, what I want, what I see and stuff. So it was very cloudy. So we actually pull the whole branding thing for like 2 years. So the first year was like we tried it, and then later on it's like she said, you take a break now. You just go do all these things, and you can figure it out what you don't want to do and what you want to do. Yep. So that really helped. And around 2022 is where we came back, and we finalized it like around this year. Mm-hmm. From writing to photography to filmmaking, then now I got really interested in personal branding, because that helps also with for people to explore themselves and also to decide who they want to be, right?
Yeah.
All these things, all this like jumble of like creativity is just like, again, am I gonna be like this forever? Or maybe not, but also like if you call yourself artist also, it's like you're always looking for different mediums to express your creativity.
Sometimes I just wonder, right? Because okay, I'm not a psychologist, right? But I'm trying to. But right now, we live in a generation where we're trying to be more self-aware with our own.
We're in between.
Huh?
We're the zillennials. I think you're zillennial, right?
No, I'm
No?
millennial, 1992.
92.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's like a zillennial gap.
Well, we are in between, but we just that there's a sense of pride to actually refer to us as millennials, right? I'm not sure about the labels, right? But regardless of it, generation, but we're trying to be more self-aware with our own, I won't say trauma, but how we would actually navigate with our emotions and all that, right?
We're getting more in touch with ourselves, and also to figure out shit to get rid of them, you know?
So we can functioning properly in whatever we're
Because
gonna
it
do,
affects
right?
your
Yeah.
adult life and everything. And why our parents are the way they are, because their parents brought it down to them.
My dad and I had that conversation about that, and he's hunky-dory right now. And what I'm getting at is that creatives are always portrayed as this always suffering, or
alone, broke,
difficult to be happy. So I'm just wondering, why is that? And actually, I think I cried the quote while I was thinking about my answers yesterday. I think it's our expectations. Because we expect a lot in our lives, based on what we can do, what we can provide, and all that. But when we realize that it may not be a good return, and whether we're compatible for the people we're working for or with, when we realize that it's not cracked up to be, we would actually saunter vaguely downwards to a lot of disappointments. Because I wouldn't say having high expectations is bad. It just shows that we approached, or at least before we got into the nitty gritty of this, we had a sense of optimism, the naivety, idealism, or whatever positive aspects I can throw around. But once reality hit us really hard, we felt lousy about that. The fairy tale, the magic of being creative, sort of became smaller, and we're no different as the ones are functioning in corporate.
Yeah.
That's my perception. Do you feel that way, or why you feel miserable, or is it something different?
My bestie and I, we always have like okay, for her, it's a seasonal existential crisis. So she's like, she has like 4 seasons of like, oh no, I'm back to the crisis again. Then it's like we don't know what to do, what we're gonna do, or like we don't see what we're doing is working for us, and we still don't know the answers. But me right now, it's like because of my upbringing, my childhood traumas, and add on with my creativity. The creative expression was encouraged by a high school teacher. So she is not liked by many people. Like, she was very strict. She was very scary. So every class is like anxiety. And I know her because I took up the elective literature in English.
Yeah.
So that's where I learned how to write, how to express, then learn more English and how to study all this stuff. And she told me this one thing, like, everyone has one language in them that they can express. It doesn't matter if you grew up with Hokkien or Malay or whatever, but we all have that one language that we speak. So you gotta know what's your language. And she said to me, yours is like English. And I think she was right, because when
at this point,
right, so it's like it's very different. And all the language that you speak in your mind is very different. Like, let's say you're speaking in a Mandarin mind. You have a very different way of looking at life, with the philosophy, the concepts, all that stuff. So have this conversation with like, what if we don't have all these childhood traumas? What would we be? Would we be better, like healthier and happy and all that stuff? But then, and she said this one thing, like, even if without all that we had like a very good life and all that stuff, we could be the opposite of who we are now. Like, now we're nice and kind, right? We could be very mean and rude. Like, it could be polar opposites, or it could be the same.
Well, I had this conversation with my partner recently, right? Question came up was, can we have peace without war, can we have happiness without sadness? I think there's more, but it's along the lines of that, right? So we drew the conclusion that we wouldn't know what happiness is until we experience sadness. So we need to experience one in order to actually
It's like yin and yang.
yin and yang.
You
Yeah,
need both.
yeah, you need both. So we need something. I'm sorry to say it, but we need to experience something negative so we can actually appreciate the positive that we have realized, and we have to make an effort to hold them on. Otherwise we would actually take it for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would actually use an example. I didn't know I was privileged until I lost it all. It's just life, right? So only then I sort of become more appreciative of what I have now. Yeah.
It was very weird, like to navigate through life, like whole lifetime, everyone's like, oh, you're this and that. They always assume all these titles on you, all these names, but that doesn't make you, right? And then it was very confusing. So my whole life was this confusion. And when it came to like, do we really have to be miserable and sad to be artistic? You know, that kind of conversation, like you see all these great artists, they're always like
In pain,
depressed, broke, have some level issues, rejected, all that stuff. That's why they make great masterpiece. So there is a point, I'm sure every creative has this, but there is a point in life like we don't know if we're happy, then we cannot be creative. But then that's just creative block, because you can be happy and you still express like really sad masterpiece. But I don't know.
Well, when I aspired to actually become a filmmaker, right, I wanted to make stories based on my teen angst and based on whoever broke my heart, stuff like that, right? So
mine was more like Stanley Kubrick kind of messed up thing. Violence. Well, when I was in college, it was all like, sorry to say this, but it was targeted on men. Because at the time I had a lot of sexual harassment, right? So I put that into my assignments. So there is one, two short films version. One is like psychoanalytic version and one is feminist version. So there's two films. It's just this guy being killed off, but then he wakes up again. So it's like, it's possible that it's a dream, but also like not a dream. Right? So all the things that I did during college was a lot like feminism and then a lot of like empowerment and it's like, just killing men off. So that came this one, I don't know what angst. It's angst, but I don't know what type of angst. I wouldn't say it's teen angst,
but I'm friends with a lot of females. I hear a lot of stories of what they have to actually have to go through, and I wouldn't blame them if they actually decide to make a story like that, right? I mean, there's a lot back in the 1980s, man. Yeah, it's just to give that cathartic experience, right? Yeah. But when I think about whether we can function without all the experiences, I mean, I think that's the reason why we do art is because we want to have a platform, some sort of voice, so we can actually be heard.
And also for others.
Yeah, that's what I would aspire to be once upon a time.
Now?
Not so. I feel like my mind oscillates between people wouldn't get it or not ready for it, or people wouldn't fund this. Like, imagine this. A lot of Malay movies, right? They're more catered to the Malay masses, right? For example, right?
And they play it all safe.
They like to play on safe. And if the movies you want, actually, I would love to watch that sort of thing. But I don't think the Malay community would like it because they don't want to be called out.
If you call them out, they make your life a hell.
Yes. They'll paint you, let's say you manage to make it work, they'll paint you as somebody who goes against the
or they may
the traditions
you,
or what.
Sue you, try to put you in jail, anything.
Yeah. So it's one of those one of the things. I mean, I'm sorry that's gonna show up. That's one of the things that's keeping me from wanting to do what I set out to do. I'm only child, but I don't want to. I won't say humiliate my parents. I think my parents would be fine, but I want to have a life, man. Yeah.
I'm more on the side like I don't give a shit when I do it. Because again, with the whole upbringing, like at home,
Yeah.
whole lifetime, and also at school, strict on you,
Yeah.
follow the rules, and you cannot offend people and stuff. But it just builds up
Yeah.
in me, like to rebel and to like speak up and to just do everything just to piss people off sometimes. And right now I'm at in a gray area where I want to rebel, but I can't. It's not because all these outside circumstances, because I really don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But it's the part where I got used to. Before that was people pleasing, but now because you're an entrepreneur, your own person with your own company and business, all right, you gotta be nice to people, even if they're shitty to you.
Yes.
I was also figuring out how can I still stand up for myself without being shitty like them. So that's like the struggle right now, but towards next year I think I'll figure it out.
I hope you do.
It's very hard to you want to rebel, but you're also so used to being nice to people because you're such a good person. You don't have bad intentions. That's what my lecturer told me a few days ago, because I met with her. She was like, it's just we're good people and we don't have bad intentions, so it's all these things just comes at us, right?
You're talking about you had a mission, basically.
Yeah. So
had or have? Do you still have the mission?
I think it came back.
Huh?
It just came back last night.
Oh yeah.
So before this interview, I'm supposed to write my answers beginning of the week.
Yeah.
But I like to procrastinate when it's too much stress and too much pressure, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's a creative thing. I don't know.
I would say creative thing. People I know would actually blame it on ADHD. I don't know how to structure my answers per se, but it's just I got to make sure that I have to believe in what I say.
Yeah.
Yes. Because that's
the struggle right now also is believing myself.
Yes. Okay. So even if I could be more, formal, like write down and then make it more formal, but the thing is, I don't want to sound like a robot. I'm not selling an autobiography. This is supposed to be conversational. So you know what? When it comes to structure, I just throw it away. But while I'm walking with my partner yesterday, I was doing a self-reflection, if you will. Like, okay, what was my purpose? How did I get here? This place smells so nice.
Distraction.
Distraction.
Yeah, I know. That's me too.
So I get that. So that means when you were coming up with the answer yesterday, you feel like, oh my god, you know what? I'm putting on my super suit back.
It was also the past few days.
Yeah.
I was doing my vision boards.
Okay.
So I never did this, right? Usually back then it's like, oh, this year I want to be like this, next year I want to be like that.
Yeah.
But when this year around May, my friend and I were like, we have all this around our head, we're going round and round about things.
Yeah.
Right? So she's like, her business coach actually told her to do vision board, which she delayed.
Yeah.
Then she's like, okay, you know what? We should do vision board and then we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah.
So we did for 1 year. It's a very awkward timeline because half the year until the next of half year. Towards this month, which is already 6 months.
Yeah.
We actually scrap off whatever we had for next year, the half of next year, and make a new one. So she haven't done hers, but I really done mine. I realized I need to do a separate one for Vamitch.
Yeah.
Because I cannot tie. Partly I no longer tie myself with Vamitch. I cannot put two things into one because that's what I did for the first one, right?
Yeah.
So now when I put it for the personal style vision board, it's so clear cut.
Yeah.
Then when I did for Vamitch vision board, I was clueless. Then until my friend yesterday, she texted me like, oh, sorry, I have to text you, but we have a shoot coming Monday. Are you free? Then I was really interested in that, but she really found someone when I replied. Sad reality. When she texted me is when it hit me again like, oh man, why am I limiting myself again?
Yeah.
You know? So it really kicked a lot of inspiration in okay, I'm gonna do this, do that, do this, do that. The lecturer that I met up a few days ago, she is my documentary lecturer. Short semester, 7 weeks. You have to come up with an idea and shoot the short film yourself because it's a solo elective.
Okay.
Yeah, so in that short semester, 7 weeks, I took web design, which is coding, And I took this short film individual once, and it was 1 or 2 more subjects, I don't remember. But it was hellish 7 zombie mode 7 weeks, but it was the most fun week ever because I get to learn about web design and coding.
Yeah.
It was easy for him to teach also because I'm very on my own. He doesn't need to come and help me all the time like the rest of my classmates. In that short film, right, I couldn't give an idea that she would say yes to because she's like, oh, this one like so typical, this one like so boring or overdone. It's like she was very hesitant to accept the few first drafts, and she's just like, oh, if you want to do this, then you gotta do like that. But nothing speaks to me. Like, it didn't give me that spark. It didn't give me like that kick. It didn't give me like a certain feeling of I must do this like that. And it was crazy because 7 weeks, and it was already like the third or fourth week or something like that. I think it was third week. Out of nowhere, I think it was my midnight thoughts again. I was just looking through all my books and stuff, right? And I found my poem books. I used to have this poem book. I write all any poems I want. I found this poem called To My Unborn Child. One idea was like a draft, and then another idea, another draft. Then a long list of ideas. I just listed down like no. Then she's like,
oh dear.
Yeah, she's like, oh dear, oh no, but she understands. Then she read everything and she saw this one that really piqued her interest. She was like, To My Unborn Child poem, let's do this. I was like, what? With her guidance and everything, I did that. That was another like spark again. Because before that, it was the 2 short films of psychoanalytic and feminist version. That was called A Dream. So when it came to this one, funny, I used the same actress. It's my friend. So people thought it's a sequel or prequel. But anyway, it's not related, but they actually see it sort of like that, because I think in a way they kind of do when you look at it side by side, but it wasn't a sequel or prequel to me. Then I just make her, it's the first time being pregnant, pregnant, and all that stuff. And yeah, and it was just very small crew, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us. I did that. Was out there. Again, got really heavily criticized. It's like one lecturer. Okay lah, hello Mr. Arbit. Okay, he loves Marvel films. He uses grainy effects on my short film. It to most people it's like, oh, it's very personal, it's very like vintage, it feels very like old school or like zaman dahulu kind of vibe, because there's also batik. He was saying like, oh, I don't think you should use grainy effects because it's usually for history films. But I'm like, okay, I defended myself, but then of course, same thing, but yeah, then she's like, I'm just telling you my opinion, sorry, we can agree to disagree, It was very annoying to talk to him, but he, at least with that experience, kind of helped me accept criticisms. It was very hurtful, it was very confusing also, but it helped. Like, all these little things that it may hurt, but it helps you build character,
If I was in your position, right, I'll just walk out and then I'll just scream out, idiot. Idiot,
oh, in my mind I was like, idiot.
Yeah.
At least you can see a different perspective.
I think it's a matter of working people who actually get your vision. So when you talk about short films or idea for a script, I went to talk to my friend about wanting to make a movie. It's just a fun conversation, right? It was like, if I had the resources, I would make a. I asked him, do you know American Psycho? I was like, yeah. I would say, I would like to make a rendition of American Psycho, but about female influencers. And then he was like, oh, no. And then it's like, this will never get made. I like it. Yeah, just to deconstruct the whole industry about influencers. Yeah.
Try to do it on no budget.
No, but no budget. I only can do a short film, or at least, because you know what American Psycho is about, right? About the whole superficial realm of being in Wall Street. So imagine about tackling about the superficial realm of being an influencer. Yeah, so like, because influencers are still a thing now. So
yeah, some say it died down.
Really, it died down.
Or like it's dying. I don't know.
Because there's just so many of them, it's hard to.
Or they're just evolving.
I really cannot tell because I need to do my research. Because when I came up with the idea, it's out of a form of angst, not towards influences, personally. It's just more of a case where, while I was working with Primo, when I have to create ideas, I have to link those concepts with particular influencers that may
Not be suitable.
that are suitable for the idea that captures the interest of the clients, right? Because we need a face for the concept, which fine. But the hardest thing to do was to negotiate with the influencers. They want more money. They want to be part of this project, and I'm like, oh my god.
This
So
probably some people discuss out there, where they expect to be treated like celebrity status, like a different, how different ways you can become like a well-known person.
Yeah.
Either you're a politician or you're a singer, from group to solo, or from home YouTube videos
Yeah.
to big, and then there's influencers.
I've heard horror stories about that, but the influencers I came across, even the celebrities, they're nice. I was lucky that I wasn't exposed to the toxic. The ones who are having difficulty working is the production team. Not out of, I'm not saying they're bad people. It's just more like they're trying to solve problems, and they will be, I won't say panic. They try to sort it out. They're just stressed out. So yeah.
I don't know if you've experienced it, but when I was in internship, they look down on influencers and YouTubers. Because it's always the thing, like the traditional ones and the modern ones, that's different world, right? So the traditional ones, they work really hard to get where they want to be. Then it's all like TV commercials and basically TV, radio, all that stuff. But then you have all these YouTubers, influencers, all different vibe and different world, So they didn't like the other side of the world. They didn't like them. They didn't like the whole world, and they kind of like teased them out.
I had resentment, major resentment towards influences at that sense a few years ago. So I understand that actually, because, and I remember I had I won't say an argument, but my but because my girlfriend at the time wanted to do simple videos, right, that she's seen on TikTok, but I wanted to do something more.
It's always like, oh, phone can do anything, but then we want the camera.
Yeah, and I'm at this point thinking, why did I invest a lot of money on my DSLR? I have 2 DSLRs. I'm not using them like the way I wanted to. I had lights, and the lights died out already. I'm just thinking, I invested all that, and I'm not using them the way they're supposed to be used. And my passion for photography also dwindled because people can do the same thing with
I have a conversation with a
smartphones.
friend about that.
Yeah, and most of the time I'm just editing on. It's not about how good my camera is. It's how good I am with photo editing in the end. So what the heck is, there's like that gray area. So I just found myself a bit resentful that I went through all that to learn this up.
I actually felt that also. Like you say, right? You have all this equipment like gears and stuff. Then there's also phones.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, it's a struggle because sometimes people like shitty clients are usually the cheap ones.
Yeah.
They will complain like, oh, I can take this with my phone. You don't take lah. But it's like they cannot afford you, and then they say shit like that. And then it's very confusing. Like, oh, you know it's different because with different gear you get different output and different pixels and quality, all that stuff.
That's right.
You may get the same, but like it's just different. Some people understand that, some people don't. Then when it came to like, oh, I don't have enough gear to make what I want to make.
Yeah.
But like you can DIY. Even during college, I always DIY. I make my own sounds.
Yeah.
With iPhone 5s. And my documentary lecturer, she always remind me like, whatever it is, just do it. And she recently gave this one-liner, which is very good advice. Yeah. Orang production kena berani. So that translates to like, production people have to be brave. Then again, it kickstart, with the vision board, with this, and then just kickstart like, oh man, I gotta do this big shit. Since I already do like every month this year, content, now it's so burnt out. Then before that, it was worse. I thought I want to make it weekly, and then it was like, whoa, calm down. chill out. She was like, let's just do one thing at a time. I practiced that for 1 year, which my objective was to learn and to explore and figure it out, right? Which I did. So for next year, it's like, even my lecturer advice, just plan out how many content you want to make next year and how long do you need, so you can do it properly and you won't be burnt out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a creative thing where, when we burn out, then partly also we are afraid that to tell our story sometimes, because it will affect a lot of people.
Yeah.
Even Uma and I were talking about it. It's like, we have stories to tell, but we're also doubtful that is it worth to tell. And also, if we tell it, it will affect a lot of people because they are the one who affected us.
Yeah.
So it's very contradicting and it's very confusing in a very I don't know what to do stage.
Majority of my creative friends became very disillusioned about the whole creative industry. They pulled out when some of them pulled out. Remember the scene from The Incredibles where he realized his friends or colleagues were died down one by one. I called some of my friends and they said, they don't do freelance anymore. They went to work for the family, and then one burned down his studio on purpose. And I was like, why did you do that? And he's like, it was during COVID season. It was bad time. I'm like, no.
Okay,
but he's all right now. He had to fix the place up. But it's just that they would actually approach things in a very skeptical manner. So there was a lack of doubtful enthusiasm. I'm not sure because I got to take care of my kids and all that. So
they're too afraid to share.
Like, I can see there's a spark in there, but the risk of creating it, that means they have to sacrifice their time and away, because it's not so much that we've changed, but our priorities has changed. Yeah. So I don't blame them. Like, they set out to do something, but then that's life, right? So I don't blame them. But currently, my friend who wasn't in the same donkeys I'm telling you about, they still like to do. They still have aspirations to do creative stuff. They do retarded stuff, things nobody would understand. Only they did. They're just doing stuff that they like only, and that's what being creative is all about. Doing stuff you like, not what the masses may not get it. Why doing it for not?
Do you think it's like a creative block also when you kind of follow a certain rule to do something?
Because I remember when I was starting out as a photographer, I didn't know jack shit about the f number or the shutter speed. I just clicked. I just click, and I enjoyed it. And some of the photos turned out nice. But when I've been bombarded with so much loss on shutter speed, the f number and all that. You shouldn't. This is not straight. You have to follow that ratio rule or something like that. The shit. I couldn't. I couldn't compute because there's so much thing going on in my mind. I'm not having fun anymore. So I'm just like, I didn't drop my camera up. It's just like, yeah. And when I look at people, actually the truth is, why I felt apprehensive towards people is because I'm jealous of them. They did not follow any rules we were brought up. They got to do whatever they want. People loved it, and we unable to actually adapt to that truth. We wanted to be like that, but there are other people above us told us no, we're supposed to do it. And I felt
it's like a very millennial thing.
It is.
Because when I say like zillennial, right, they're in between the millennial and the Gen Z. So like the influencers are more like Gen Zs, right? They just do whatever they want. They don't care. They just don't think and just do. And then the millennials like, we gotta think about this, be careful, and then I listen to the higher uppers and stuff. So I'm in between, like it's like a push and pull.
And we're afraid of being cancelled.
Cancelled? No, not for me at least, because I've always been cancelled. Always been rejected. For some reason, people couldn't accept my ideas or thoughts or like the lifestyle that I choose. So although I'm like the youngest one and all, they always view me like this modern child who gets all this privilege, this modern child who does things different. So it's like, how you see like jealousy or like unfair, or like
Yeah.
partly it's like maybe they feel regret that they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Photography and visual storytelling
Yeah.
is both my master skills.
Yeah.
Because compared to the rest, I didn't really put much work on the others. And also when I did, like, I went to this 12-week course. I'm still in the middle of it, from this book called The Artist's Way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the book by Julia Cameron.
No, I don't. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's a book for creative people who are blocked.
Yeah.
And a lot of things really like make you, you know, think and reflect and stuff. And she mentioned, like, you know, shadow artists and your sensors and all that stuff. So sensors are people who
Sorry. What shadow artist?
she tells this story, right? This guy wants to be an artist, like painter.
Okay.
But because his father said, no, you gotta go into business, carry on the business or what, and then just earn money. So he chose that path. He listened to his father. He was successful. Like, he didn't fulfill his artist side, but he buy paintings from artists. So this is where you shadow artists. So you're shadowing artists, and also you're the shadow artist.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, like, another story is where this person wants to be a singer, but he didn't take the leap. So he became an agent to singers instead. You're blocked because you've been shadowing yourself and your own art. This one part, she said, write down your imaginary lives.
Yeah.
If you were a doctor, how would your life look like?
Yeah.
How would you live it? When I write the whole lifestyle of like this certain role, it really shows you like, oh, turns out it's just something that you want to do for fun.
Yeah.
With the painter, it's like I still have the same dream that I had when I was a kid. Like, I want to make my own living and stuff with my paintings or art. But that one feels more like it's just me, not Vamitch. So before that, I actually combined a lot, like Vamitch creative photography and Vamitch arts. But at one point, I was like, the art side felt like a burnout.
Yeah.
So I stopped and I just let go and took everything out. I even had like a lot of views on TikTok, but I just deleted the video. The art stuff, okay, it's so hard.
What is it? Is it a time lapse sort of thing, or?
It was a random wax sealed stamp.
Yeah.
So it was just trying out that stamp, and at first the video only had like few hundreds views. And on my birthday, I think last year or something, it just hit on and on, like just kept coming in, the likes and the views, and it got to a point like 100K. With other videos, it was also like thousands views and stuff on Instagram, but I let go everything. I deleted everything.
Yeah.
So I want to start fresh, because when I started this whole art side, it was more like just try out clay and see if it sells, because my friend was doing it and she asked me to do it just to try out.
Yeah.
But when you keep like, you know, oh, you started it, then you forgot about the objective, right? Then you keep doing it, you know, buy, sell, and it's just burnout and like it's just not enjoyable anymore.
You're trying to force yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have the drive. You're like, I can't do this.
Yeah. When in LinkedIn, right, you ask me like, is Vamitch like a business or a freelance thing, or like something else that you said? So Vamitch Creative started as a freelance business name, but now it's more than just that. So at the time, it was like I got approached by this Korean restaurant, like very big name, to do a photo and video shoot on their food, but they were dirt cheap. I think in the end they did in-house and just force themselves to like overwork and stuff. It's a lot of money coming in, right? So if but for legal sake, if they see like a lot of money in and then you don't have a job or like any business, so where is this money coming from, right? So that's where it's all like pending, and then like, I just register it as a business. When I did branding with my friend, she actually sees all these like, you know, future ideal or like the vision for every brand pretty much. But I couldn't see at the time. It took me like years later, and then I told her like, you know what, you actually have this certain magic in you that you can actually see what people cannot see. Vamitch is a space or environment where we empower introspective individuals through exploration and self-expression. What we do is translate each person's story into creative visuals and strategic workshops, and with that, we guide these individuals to explore more about who they are and want to be. To the next question, what made you choose the creative industry, or did it choose you?
I don't know, honestly, because here's what it is. When I have always wanted to be part of the creative industry, so yeah, you could say I chose it. But when there are periods of times when I want to,
goodbye,
you know, like stay away from it, like there was a point I wanted to give it up completely because I had a anxiety attack to the point that it affected my heart, and I fell on the floor. So that was the last straw because I didn't have much money and I was working hard. I felt that no girl will want me because I didn't have money or something like that. So it was a lot of clashing. So then it fell down. But then in the end, I always come back last. So I think I chose it. Yeah.
Up until high school, I don't know what the heck industry even means. You know, when people say like industry, I just think about all those kilang, those factory. Because it's always connected.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
words are
yeah.
connected. It's when internship. Oh man, this is industry. Is what they mean.
Yeah.
And I don't think I initially chose it, but after the internship, you know, I thought I won't be back. I
Yeah.
was like, nah, man, I don't want to be in this place anymore. And also, a lot of things were happening that is just very toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they brush it off. But I'm not the kind to brush it off. I
Yeah.
freaking rebel. So I was like, why not just stand up for yourself, or like, why not just change things? But all of them were like, oh no, you cannot change it. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But I didn't want that, and I don't know if I will make an impact on changing the industry or what. But I also don't know if I want to be in at least Malaysian's creative industry.
I understand because I dabble with that sort of mindset. Whether I want to be creative here or overseas. But then when I think about it, my home is still here, and I think if I want to make a crack, if I decide to make a crack at it, I gotta stay here and fight because we have a lot of potential over here. It's just a matter of now whether our voice, people are willing to listen to our voice. And when you mentioned about shadow artists, right? I don't know whether this relates or not, but the thing is, I tend to like keeping in touch with people who I see has talent or somewhat. Okay, for example, those two donkeys I was talking about, you know who you are, and I have this. They grind my gears a lot, but why I call them donkeys is because my wife sees me how I work with them. I'm supposed to be directing them for the video, but the way she sees it, it's just two monkeys playing volleyball, and I'm the volleyball. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that they're talented people. They have unique abilities.
But they're not serious.
They're not serious about it. They just have fun. And I have this thing where I like to dress them up. How to
Like a
present?
circus.
No, how to no, not it's not dress them in costumes. More like what kind of outfit would suit their personalities. Meaning,
Yeah, but it's like a circus, you know, because they're acting like monkeys and donkeys, right?
that,
And then they're dressed up.
that's what it is, man. So I call up some friends. Oh, you want to be part of this? Well, so just to have fun once upon a time, and knowing this, it shows that Malaysia does have potential for creative. My friend's a comedian, but it's just that he's still trying to make a crack out of it. He's still fighting, and it's admirable. And I had to talk about somebody like Yasmin Ahmad, for example. Right? She's able to make her projects a reality because she's self-funded.
Yeah.
Self-funded. So it's a matter of you got to work. She has her own advertising agency. She allocated the money just so she can make her own films, actually. So you got to think about that.
Oh, that's my direction now.
Yeah. So good luck, right? And Mama Khalid, God rest his soul, I managed to have an interaction with him. You watched the movie like Zombie Kampung Pisang. Well, he is responsible for the zombie films, right? Nice man. He said that Malaysia is always a shortage with writers.
Oh.
Yeah, so, and I'm thinking, actually, we have a lot of writers. I didn't know at the time, but I realized writers are there. But it's just a matter of like whether you would actually appreciate their abilities, whether you're willing to pay the writers, actually, because they laid the groundwork, and like you're probably going to do the writing, right? You're going to make the foundation. Art direction or cinematography, they're important, but they're not as important as the writers.
Because the story is there.
The story is there, so you need that story as a foundation to make everything a reality.
We did get thought that it's not everything in the script should be in the film.
Yeah.
But it's also very like it feels so like insulted when they change so many things from the script. Sometimes it's good, it's better, but sometimes it's like you want certain things to be in the film, they just take it out.
Yeah.
Because it's too hard to make. Or they find it difficult to shoot.
Yeah.
Or just any reason.
Because when you're funded by other people, they will want to have some creative input. So that's the issue
I
I've
still
seen.
face that with photography clients.
Yeah.
Like I'm supposed to do the creative direction, but somehow they just put in more.
They just want to have their say, just to validate their existence. So it's like fuckers. I know you pay me money, but
You pay me for my brain.
yeah, I always get annoyed about that. So yeah, when you said that you want to have this cathartic system, like the girl gets the revenge on the guy or something.
Remember the short film I made,
Yeah.
A Dream, that has two versions
Yeah.
based on film theories? I didn't have a script until a day before shooting.
It just came out.
It just came out. Midnight thoughts again. Actor and actress, two of them, right? They're my friends. So they're like, okay. They don't care, but they're also nervous, like, oh man, what am I gonna do tomorrow? When they received the script like at midnight, he's a very nice guy. He's respectful, he's very nice and kind, and he doesn't disrespect women or even like assault anyone. But he has to act like that in the film.
Yeah.
He has to act a pervert. So he was like, it was all like the identity crisis, but he loves acting back then, right?
Yeah.
So he just thought of like, Scarface moment or like any movie characters moment. He just put it into the character. They just read it the night before, and then the in the morning before the shoot, they read it. They even get to memorize it. I'm very surprised, like very impressed with that. They just go with it. And even there's a choreography part, so they have to fight. And the actress, she can do high kick. I was like, I didn't know about that. I was like,
whoa. So I
can use that in my film. And then they both did the choreography on the spot.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so no ideas, but you actually pay attention to other people's characteristics, your talents, right? And you're trying to integrate that into the film, is it?
A Dream short films, a pair work.
Yeah.
With the My Unborn Child is a solo work. I just had to get whoever I know who can help me.
Yeah.
So they were my friends, and they were okay with it. They were like very on, and even now they're like, whatever you want, just call me up.
Yeah.
It's just time, right? The surprising thing is I didn't know if they can act like that.
Yeah.
I was just hoping for the best. I didn't know she can do high kick. I was like, wow. Then I also didn't know that they can actually push themselves to express all that in person within like less than 1 day.
Yeah.
The hard part is this other version, the girl actually talks back to him. Like, what are you staring at? Blah, 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 blah. All this, like, you pervert, She had to say it at the cafe in front of a lot of people.
So she was in it deep, man.
So we did get permission from the cafe owner. He was cool with it. Okay, he was cool with it. He didn't know what it is. He didn't care. He's just like, okay, can, because my other friend, she was the one who is shooting the most.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, we want to use your place as like the shoot and all. Then we'll just take a B-roll of your cafe name and then just put in that field. So they're okay with it. So we don't have to pay for anything. So when that happened, she's like, the guy, of course, he's like, oh man, everybody's looking at me.
Yeah.
It was a longer shoot because there's like a few shots in that area, and we rested in the area after like in an alley area. Okay, it's not really recommended to shoot in an alley in KL or even anywhere in Malaysia, but we make sure
at night.
Oh, it was daytime.
Oh, okay.
So it was also sort of empty. It's one whole day shoot for two versions. Yeah. So when we finished with them, we did the other B-rolls and stuff. Then just edit and send in. Got A, I think.
It's always fun when you're actually doing it for yourself. I mean, you're doing it for the grade, but you're just doing it for yourself, not because of people's expectations.
The great thing, right? I'm surprised, Okay, first thing, my lecturers are so open to any ideas. They actually get frustrated when students limit themselves or they repeat the same story like whole generation of their uni or college. It's always the same story. There's always the same pattern. Like once you watch it, it's like, oh, it's a student work. Oh, it's very hard college. But there are some improvements after I graduate, which my lecturer told me. And that time it was like that to my unborn child thing. I mean, there are shots that, although it's symbolic, but it represents that they had sex,
Yeah.
I used Johnson's baby shower gel, the milk bath. and with the syringe just shoot on the wall to represent what, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I was like, oh man, my lecturer actually approves this word, and my sisters were like, yo, school really approves this kind of thing. I was like, I don't know, it's a sort of idea.
It's art.
Like it's art, yeah. She actually said it's art. She didn't mind. She was open. There was no limits. Maybe some people were uncomfortable, but everyone always laughed at that part.
I think you need to show me the.
I'll send you the link.
You need to show me your work, man. I'm gonna. I'm just gonna tell you about the. I get it, man. I'm just gonna. I'll show you the video I made with the two donkeys. sorry, guys, but you. I love you guys. They wanted to do like some shit posting on for TikTok or something like that. I saw their script. It's just two guys communicating with each other by using famous movie quotes.
Oh.
It may not be related, but it's just nonsensical. So I'm thinking, we're not going to use this phone camera. So wait, why? I can make this into art. And it's just that we got to Medika Raya, right, where it's going to be empty in the morning. And we woke up early in the morning. My partner followed me because she wants to be part of the experience. Like, I want to see how this happen. Basically, she just want to see both of them messing me up. No lie, but she likes art stuff. But when there, he didn't do his research that people were cycling in the area. So I just stared at him like, what? I didn't know. But I just gave him the
director look or producer look.
You have one job, and then I scolded him, but his reaction was like he's gonna get away with it just by monkeying his way out. So I suggested we do my apartment, and we managed to do it. Editing and all that. That shit was hilarious, man. And I realized that it was difficult when I was working in the agency or whatever. The hardest part was to make people laugh.
Oh.
We can do things that is seemingly funny on hindsight, but when I look at the finished product,
only certain people can get it.
No, not certain people, because it's just there's a difference between like intellectual funny or just generic funny. Like it's kind of like this. You would laugh when there's a laugh track. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
This one's just like, I know these assholes. So we're just doing one of those.
It's a different thing.
It's different. So it's fun to work with people outside the industry. Actually,
there's so much energy.
That enthusiasm,
Yeah.
Like I envy you guys.
Because I took a break, right? That really helped to gain back some energy. Probably it was like, depression itself.
Yeah.
Right? And also with all the best friends and then close friends, and they all like, they have a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
So it helped a lot to like heal and be better. Then with this creative spark, it's very hard, but I think it's coming back.
Slowly, I think you need to heal and also articulate to what has happened.
Yeah.
And think about whether or not to work.
That book actually helped a lot. Partly, it contributed to my perfectionism, which right now is much more better. Like, I won't get too stressed out by anything. Like, if I can fix it, I fix it.
Yeah.
If I don't, it's like, whatever. It's still art. So, partly, like, from probably like parents, like, you gotta do everything perfectly and stuff.
Yeah.
But another part is where, another thing that people will say is privilege, but it wasn't even like a long-term thing. But I went for Kumon, and so up until like fraction, and we stopped also because of money. Then this guy, he was the owner of that Kumon branch, and he was also sometimes like teaching.
Yeah.
So every class that you go, you can take like 2 stickers, and they have a file, right, Kumon file. You can decorate however you want. So when this one time, right, he was telling to these 2 kids, I don't know if it's English or Mandarin or like mix, or I don't know, but I understood what he said. Okay, I was like 7 to 10 around that year, maybe 7 to 9, right? So he said like, you take any stickers you want, then decorate nicely on your file.
Yeah.
Don't do it like that girl over there, like her file so ugly. And that girl was me. Okay, I cried. I cried immediately. I went to a corner. There's like this corner, right? The entrance and like a small corner there. I hide myself there and I cried my
Yeah.
eyes out, and I was peeling all the stickers out. It is not just that contributed to perfectionism, but it also affected me to express myself freely. So whenever I did my artworks, right,
Yeah.
I was so careful, like, oh, if I put this here, I cannot change it because, well, I didn't know how to fix it with like watercolor or acrylic or oil, right? But you
Yeah.
can. But it's like, oh, if I put it here, it's wrong. If I put it here, it's wrong. Like you're too scared to make the placements. It affected me for a long time until college and even after. So this book, the first week's task, you have to figure out your monster hall of fames. So these are basically people who telling you no or rejecting your ideas or what or whatever that contributed to your creative hell, something like that.
Yeah.
So this one came out of nowhere. So that's when like, oh, it made a lot of sense with all these things, how I express myself and how I do things, and even whatever that I do, it felt like I cannot make a mistake. It was very hard. So, well, fuck you, dumbass guy, uncle Chinape. But yeah, so maybe like my common friend or what, they were like, oh, why are you crying? They're trying to ask me, but I couldn't express it out.
Yeah.
Then my sister was working part-time over there, so I don't know if she came over or not, but even in that common, I actually cried a few times for different occasions. See, social anxiety again. So yeah, just silent and just in my own world. Like, man, how can an adult say that to a child in front of her? You're not a man. But yeah.
Shattered dreams, man.
Well, all these insults and bullies and all that stuff, there's still the rebel side in me, the rebel angst. Now I feel like it's hibernating.
Yeah.
Because when things happen to me, either I'm unfazed by it or like I laugh about it, which is good. But also sometimes like I still get confused, like why is this happening? Very weird encounters when I go night work, right? I still meet weird guys and weird experiences. Up to college, right? I can still feel anger.
Yeah.
I could still feel like all these emotions inside until I couldn't. Until it died off, like the whole thing just went numb and empty. Then because with anger, I put it into my artwork. My college classmates were hell, right? So Animal Farm,
George Orwell book, right? Yeah.
so I drew them into pigs. This whole painting up block, pigs with like little elements from them, like the certain top that they were wearing, or like a certain thing that they always wear, and just put it in the pigs. Like it was such a cute pig, like pig. And what's the quote? Something equal, one for all, something.
I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, the quote is in red, and then the pigs are them.
I know what you're talking about, but I forgot the actual quote as well. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others.
And actually, I have an anxiety attack like quite recently. It was bad because it was during when I was driving.
Oh
It
no.
happened when I was driving. And then when towards the middle part, then it rained really heavy. Either it gives like a mental anxiety breakdown or nothing. After college, whatever that you experience is work related.
Yeah.
People in the industry or even outside the industry. So if you want to channel all this like angst into your artwork or what, it might be too obvious or what, then you might get sued or like you might get cancelled or whatever. But it's just like, I don't know, partly because like some of these people, they are sort of either they're getting well known or like they are well known, so
they have more to lose compared to when they were starting out.
That's what my friends say.
Yeah, because imagine this: you starting out, nothing to lose, like the world's your oyster basically. But then once you hit that mark where you start to feel success, you realize that there's a lot to lose, and you have to watch where you say compared to when you were starting out. Yes, that's.
So why is my mindset in that mindset? Like I have a lot to lose.
Because I don't know, man. I think my problem was I want to be liked, because I never had much attention just by being myself. Like doing stuff I actually like. Yeah, and I thought about doing something that's mainstream that people would actually get attention, but I didn't get the attention anyways. And
Oh, that's me, but I was doing because I thought like that would bring in clients. It did not.
yeah,
When I showed like, I think you've seen my portfolio, right? All those photos.
yeah.
So some of them is like really stood out, and my lecturers and friends, they were like, do more of this, and then just market and brand it in a different way. But again, it's like the belief in yourself is just, well, right now I think it's in hibernation because I can feel it coming back.
When I was younger, right, I was still had that strength, spirit, right. I actually took the time to construct a neon sign and mount it on the wall, and it says, "Don't be sheep." Don't be sheep, meaning don't feel like anybody else, man, because you're not gonna be happy. And I had it mounted in my house in Rawang. I haven't set foot there in years because, look, it's a long story. But when I went back to the house, it's already dusty. My dad's still trying to fix a lot of things. It's not a place you would actually want to live in at the moment. It's not in good condition. Then I'm just opening my door as if I'm back in my old base or something like that.
It's like a time travel.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's more like, like Batman has his Batcave, right? And it feels like entering the Batcave after you've been inactive for years. I opened my wardrobe. My black hoodies were like aligned and they're like molded. Yeah, that's how long I haven't set foot.
Whoa, but you left all your things there.
Yeah, and some of my props and all that. Oh. And then I turned on the light. Don't be sheep. It still works. Like,
you could make this into like a movie moment.
but because I'm a bit camera shy at the moment, right? But like, funny thing is I wanted to be a camera, but then I didn't want. That's a bit of a ball game. So what I'm trying to say is that it aligns with everything what you said. You shouldn't worry about what people want from you, man. It's tiring.
Lecturers see their students, right? They see all the potential.
Yeah.
So how they saw me back then and now until now, it's like, how did I become like now compared to last time when I was so brave and rebellious in everything that I do? Like even when I asked my documentary lecturer, she's Miss Husna, so she was like telling all the stories about the current students, like they even until now, last time to now, they limit themselves.
Yeah.
I asked her like, has anyone done poetry short film after me? And she's like, nope, no one is brave enough. So that's when it got me thinking like a very rusty lawnmower, and then you like just kick-starting everything back. Yeah. And
more importantly, you need to have faith in your own project. Otherwise, I'm not. When it comes to creative things that I'm good at, right? Like my main skill, I'm not really sure per se. Yeah, we just have to have more faith in our ideas. So, yeah.
You talk about it like how people were jaded.
Yes.
Yeah. So every time it's the same conversation. Like, are you sure you want to be in industry? Are you sure you want to be this and that? Or what do you want to do when you graduate? Do you want to be a director, producer, writer, blah, blah, blah? Clueless, because you don't know. Nobody taught you about this.
Yeah.
Not even in college. Nobody knows what's like the industry like and all that stuff. Constant thing is like they were all so fucked up. They were constantly grinding, right? Constantly hustling from day to night. Some of them didn't sleep for 3 days.
Yeah.
But this one guy, he was one of the runners, and he was fetching me back, right? So he said he didn't sleep for 3 days and then he missed his family, but he said like, I think I want to change my direction now because I want to watch my kid grow up.
Yeah.
Other dude, okay, this dude, right? I don't remember his name, but you don't know he's in the shoot. He talks to everyone and he's always emo. I was very interested in the story. At the end of the conversation, he was like, you know what, you have a talent on consulting people.
Yeah.
And most importantly, people want to. I wrote that in my journal, then I think one random day I just opened the book and it came up. And I was like, oh, it kind of ties into what I'm doing now unconsciously, how everyone's always saying the same advices and regret. Did you really fight for it? Or maybe like it wasn't even that thing in the first place. It was just something like they thought like, oh, I want to be that. But later on they figure like, oh, maybe I'm more comfortable with this or that. If you were really passionate or what, I don't think you would die. You might come back, or you might change a different direction, but they were also hopeless, and that hopelessness adds on to my hopelessness. It's not helping.
My view. Okay, sure. Maybe I didn't fight hard enough, but I know that I couldn't do it alone. So I need some support, not financial support, more like somebody else who actually believes in the concept in order to actually make it work, or maybe another group of people who actually believes in the project. So it's not. I wouldn't want to put the blame on my lack of passion. It's just that my passion faded because nobody else could commit to it. Yeah.
My friends, lecturers, and even like, well, before that you were a stranger, right?
Yeah.
You guys could see it, and then you guys believe in it and encourage it. So I think I had that support.
Yeah.
Unconsciously, I didn't realize it, but when the part you say like, you need people to make things work like that.
Yeah.
So I've always been like, I don't care, I'm gonna do it on my own. Yeah, always like that since I was a kid. That autonomous kind of character is like, it just carries on.
Yeah.
And no matter what I do, I know it may be impossible or what, but people always advise me like, you should get help, to do this or that, or maybe get like whatever grants and stuff. But it's just like, in me, it's just I don't want it still.
You don't want the grant.
You don't want any outside help because there's always like other
Price.
things, But it's the thing that I want to make it work on my own, because it's always like, people, they go into a full-time job, then they quit, then they get into their own business or into their passion, or they get grants and then they make something happen, or they get investor fundings either from outsiders or from their family and friends. But I don't want that.
Yeah.
It's just I really want to make it happen to show my kids out that I really did it on my own.
Yeah.
Even if it's hard. Although I know I'm quite privileged right now because I'm semi-supported by my sister. Partly also I'm not like a shopper, so that's kind of good.
Yeah.
So when I do shop, like this one for Christmas, money gone. But yeah.
Yeah.
Then
I splurged this month really hard. I'm on a budget now.
I know, same. Yeah, it's just like very toxic in the company. There's one guy, right? He said like I think he was at his late 20s and reaching 30s. So he said, you're still young, you're in your 20s, try everything out.
Yeah.
Because that's what he did. He just tried everything year by year, everything, and until to a point where he figured out like what he really wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that part, like, although like appreciate those people that say, be careful with what you choose. Be careful with be sure that you want to be in industry and that stuff, but it felt all very limited mindset.
Yeah.
Like I can contribute to the creative industry, but maybe not in the traditional way. Maybe in a different way. Okay, back to that teacher in high school, the one that said you have one language in your mind.
Yes.
This one advice she gave, she said, do not limit yourself. I wrote it down somewhere and I found it recently. She's like, do not limit yourself. Even back then she said like, just try everything, do everything, do not limit yourself. Unconsciously, I think this year I didn't limit myself, but I downplay a lot of my achievements. So like my friend was saying like, you did so much this year, don't downplay your own achievement and stuff, like give yourself the boost, right? So you can keep going on. My family and also my friends at the time, from primary to secondary to college they always say like, they want to be, let's say they want to be a singer, but they don't dare to pursue it because they think there's no future in it, or they cannot get to like Disney level or what. But they always say like, cannot lah. When I see everyone's like that, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to grow up or die like that. Personal mission since I was a kid that I want to do whatever it takes to be my own boss or whatever, and to make my own living on my own without actually going to any companies. Now it's more widely practiced or lived, but back then it's like, it's a very brave thing. If like, you're a travel blogger or a travel vlogger, you go travel and work at the same time. That was like my aspiration to do it until COVID happened. You say right, the interest, your creative journey started maybe like from alienation.
Lonely.
Yeah. So with that whole rejection, people always call me weird.
Yeah.
So it became like this name. At first it was Psycho Vamitch.
What? Psycho Vamitch?
Yeah. Because crazy ideas, crazy thinking, imagination and dreams. That Vamitch, well, it's just combination word of vampire and witch. Then I mean, if you Google it up, you can see Urban Dictionary definition there. That was a very silly thing that I did with my schoolmate at the time. We just write out some stupid story there. I wanted to remove them, but I can't. No one had this name until now. Only me. So it's like a very unique name, really, right?
Yeah.
But there is one fan, I think a K-pop fan. She used that word Vamitch to put into a fan fiction. I read it. It's quite funny. Vamitch was like a hero, like a companion. Because I don't know if people have this, but I always have this voice in my head who is very mean, very bitchy, very rude, very like. Again, it's like a censor. Like the book says, censor is where people, tells you no, tell you cannot do it. She was just there, right? It's a she, unfortunately.
Your inner critic, would you say?
Yeah, but it was so real. Like physically, she's there in the head.
Yeah.
So it went on until maybe high school. And I thought she left, like she died or what when I entered college, but it turns out like she consumed into me. Vamitch is more like the angel, like that, like the one who would say all the good things and then encouraging you and some of them to rebel, to be brave, and to like just say no to the haters like that. Because now I can be on my own.
Yeah.
So with Vamitch, I feel like it's time to share it with people, people who need it. People who actually don't have that one person in their life to actually tell them they can do it, they can live their life, they can choose a different path, or like they can get out of the house. When I no longer tie myself to this title Vamitch, I want to share it with the world for people to feel less lonely in their journey to whatever they set their mind to. I have this strong gut feeling that I want to help others in the whole wide world, even beyond space and the universe, for people to learn about other people's stories from anywhere in the world, so that it gives them some perspective and maybe even help them make certain decisions or to change a certain personality trait, for example. And whatever it is, it's a welcoming environment to those who don't feel as belong in social and in life. This might be cheesy, but let Vamitch be with you through it all. That's a very cliche kind of copywriting.
I don't think so. It works.
Yeah, what's the world you envision?
The racial barriers to clear up.
Oh.
I would like to demolish the racial barriers, man. Okay. We live in Malaysia. We would advertise ourselves as all-in-one, racial, Asian, racial harmonious.
Ethnic.
Yeah, but the problem is we have some sort of pissing contests on which race is superior, which contributes the most. I understand that there's a need to have different cultures to be occupying the same space, right? But when they became to a point where their views, they want to be dominant in terms of their views, right? Instead of learning from each other, you're not going to progress any further, and you'll just be relying on the same people with a similar mindset. And the reason why, the main reason why I felt that we should actually be more open to other cultures, because I grew up in a Malay culture, right? The Malay Muslim and all that. Malay Muslims are very conservative, and they cannot see past their.
Oh yeah, recently I got some criticism.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I don't know why she was looking my ass anyway. It was my clients were okay. They don't mind. They don't have issues with my services. But just because it's one brief moment, like it's a sports court area that they use it for wedding space. So the stage is very high. There's no ladder. There's no any platform. The coach on the side, they sit on that chair. So I had to stand and sit there, to take the pictures. So with other complaints that they had, but this one complaint was like, she said that can see my panties when I squat down and take a picture.
What the hell?
So like, first of all, why are you looking at my ass, man? And then second, it's like it's high-waisted pants, a red one. The top, it does goes up, and I can feel my skin, like air and stuff. Then I did pull down, but maybe it's just the brief moment that she saw that she didn't feel happy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't think she paid. So when people don't pay, they have a lot to complain.
Yeah.
Even the clients, they were like, "What? That's so sudden. Like, what kind of, I don't know, what kind of remarks that you
Yeah.
say to me, and I have to pass it to the photographer. That moment, I think that kicks up my rebel angst again. I just cannot stand all these rules thing. You know,
And so just to back a point that we have some sort of I won't say
rebel
mutual,
angst.
not rubber angst, like mutual understanding with our cultures. I think it would also benefit us as creatives because right now our limitations in the creative industry is how we might offend other cultures, or
Yeah.
especially in terms of religions, or why girls are wearing like this and all that. I'm like,
The thing is, it's also generation
yeah,
gap. So of course, the old people are still not all are accepting all these things, but the younger people don't care.
yeah,
So we're in between, like serving, well, kind of serving like all age gap. And there are like, okay, if let's say there's this old person, he may be very open to certain things, but he's also like has his own values that are deemed to be old right
yeah.
now. So we cannot satisfy everybody.
Cannot. That's what I really, really hope to see in the future.
We have the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, might be different too.
Yeah, but Gen Zs are also advocating for the old people's vision as well, so it's kind of really confusing, right? Imagine this: when we watch TV dramas, right? It's always the same. Yeah, it's always the same goddamn thing. I feel like entertainment is meant to be a hub to share a vision of the future, but if people aren't able to actually see some sort of content that way, you're never going to evolve, especially if you're working in the creative industry and then people are just playing it safe and
I
reverting
think
back
it
to
takes one person,
huh?
right? It always takes one person to make things change.
I mean, Yasmin
So
Ahmed was supposed to advocate for concepts like this. That's when I realized that it's going to be heavy. I may not be happy if you're getting into this rebellion, if you will. And my mistake was I invested too much on one dream, and when it didn't happen, I was miserable. So it's best to actually have multiple dreams, if you will. And it doesn't have to be career related. It can be something very simple, goals that are measurable, just to feel good about yourself. What I didn't consider at the time, that I would have acquired a very positive family, because how I was brought up was there's a lot of emotional turbulence. I thought having a happy family was in the cards, but I actually have it. And by the time I already have it, I didn't notice it. I was so focused on the broken dream that I didn't understand. I have a family, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm gonna just, you know, keep invested on this one because it feels like it's gonna benefit me later in life. Yeah, I'm just talking about the dark side, about what if your creative obsessions would lead you to, when if you know what they say, that artists are so pretentious that artists pain and all that, right? That's toxic behavior, borderline toxic behavior, and I'm guilty of that. But I was guilty of that, by the way, so I don't want it. I just want to do things for fun.
So usually I end my videos with one question. What is your advice to the audience?
As I said before, do not invest so much on one dream. You keep your options open for other things, and be sure to actually have a measurable goal. I understand that you're told to actually shoot for the skies, right? But what happens if you actually can't, and you put your heart and soul into it? You're gonna feel lousy about it. You're gonna fall hard on it, and you won't be able to see the other things that is good around you. That's what happened to me for the past 4 years.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a long journey. It nearly destroyed my relationship, man.
Wait, what was the dream that like died or didn't work out?
Well, because I wanted to be a filmmaker or director or anything related. But when I realized the concepts I want to be involved in may not be applicable in here, so kind of like what
Oh,
you're.
I did have that moment.
Yes. So I've worked in Minibima a hub I thought apply from which I thought I could actually make my dreams come true, but because of the politics that came into play, and I had this conversation with one of the with the producers, great man. He said that the reason why he's unable to actually climb out the ladder is because he doesn't know how to play the corporate game. He's talented. He has a lot of ideas that I would like to put it on the screen, but he's unable to do so because he doesn't know how to play the game. Neither can I. It's not part of my identity.
Man, I know what you mean. It's a lot,
Yeah.
and people play a lot of those politics.
Yeah.
In pretty much any industry and companies. But I learned a lot when I hear stories from my friends and sister. And I was like, why do you engage in all these things? The thing is, my sister have fun with it.
Yeah.
So she's like, man, it's so fun. Because, well, she can handle it. But like you said, I couldn't handle it, but I'm still learning how to.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't think I have a choice. Because I am on my own. And I'm also, the boss, the CEO, the finance department, the account department,
You're
camera,
doing everything,
everything,
one-man show,
person.
man.
Yeah, so. But yeah, it's not something not doable.
Yeah. I'm not saying give up your dream,
No,
but just keep it measurable.
Wide.
Keep it wide and also measurable.
So we've come to the end of the video. Bye.